go time. NYXL lock it down.
Get out, Philadelphia Fusion say.
Sabior, we can see him waiting in the wing.
Oh my God, Carpe! Carpe! The man is a monster.
Mecca somehow still alive. You better believe it.
Done and dusted. Philadelphia Fusion sweep.
That's huge for New York.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Aaron Stevie, and our next match is NYXL versus the Fusion. Now, the last time that these two teams met, the Fusion beat NYXL. Can they get the revenge? I guess we'll find out. You guys ready? Yeah, I love that energy. All right, let's send it on over to you, Golden Boy. Take it away.
Aaron, and I'm pumped for this one. It's time to prove why the East Coast is the Beast Coast, baby. That's right, because I live in New York. So all you LA people, you know,
how long you been sitting on
check
this
yourself.
Why are you saying this?
They're both on the East Coast as well. What does it prove if one of them wins?
No, because it's going to be a sick game. That's why.
Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
It's like you don't listen to me. Just pay attention
He's
to
figured us out. He's
Just
God.
figured him out. I knew it this whole time, the swine. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule here, where we are right now. So we had a London Spitfire taking a Boston Uprising. London will take that 4-0. Now we're going to NYXL versus the Philadelphia Fusion. And our final matchup of the day will be the Florida Mayhem. You hear me? Mayhem, sure, why not? Versus the Houston Outlaws. I tried to mess that one up, but I didn't really work that too well, so, you know, love. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring out your first team, guys. Put your hands together for the NYXL. 13-4 overall in the lead, 3-1 in stage 2. Coming off of defeating the Uprising and the Outlaws 4-0 in week 2. These guys have just been on point.
NYXL, if they're up against the Philadelphia A squad, I like it, you know, they got those moves going on. They're slithering across the dance floor, a little bit like me on Saturday nights. But we won't go into it, Golden Boy. Instead, I'm going to talk about New York's passive play style as we get into this one. I mean, if they continue the way they are in terms of their general play style, their philosophy on playing Overwatch, I feel like Philadelphia have an opportunity to just run all over them. But this is New York Excel. They are a smart team. They are from the East Coast, as Golden Boy, you put it, the Beast Coast. So I'm expecting big things from them.
Well, so do we all. Thank you so much, Bryn.
No problem.
But I did get to talk to the guys from NYXL about their passive play style. They did say that they do agree that this could potentially be an issue going up against such a fast-paced team such as the Fusion. So they made the necessary adjustments, and they will really try hard to evolve their play style and change it up a little bit. So I'm interested to see what is he doing.
What is Ark listening
What
to?
is Ark
That's what I want to know.
Maybe he's listening to Logic's new mixtape.
This is live.
Saying, baby. You know, Bobby Tarantino, too.
I didn't realize Philadelphia, not Philadelphia. I messed up the joke already. Carry on, Golden Boy. Just continue.
You are not allowed.
Absolutely ruined. I'm looking at Ark and Jonak here though as well. This support duo is absolutely fantastic from the NYXL. Jonak does over 18% of his team's damage, and he's got Sabiorbi and Libero on the team. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This duo is nuts.
That is absolutely ridiculous. But they're going to have to look to, well, their opponents are going to have to look to shut this one down. And let's just go ahead and welcome to the stage, folks, the Philadelphia Fusion. They fell to the Dynasty yesterday, 3-1, but it was a hard-fought battle, currently sitting at 3-2 in the stage. But this is a tough schedule here for the Fusion, so.
It really is. Playing back-to-back match days against two of the strongest teams in the league, nonetheless, named Seoul and NYXL. And now on top of that, Boombox fell ill. They did just tweet this out like half an hour ago that Boombox won't be in the lineup, and instead we're going to see Dayfly again, which I think we saw already in stage 1 every now and then.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, actually. They're going with Dayfly and Neptuno. We have seen teams tend towards the Ana Zenyatta compositions. Kind of Lucio's taken a bit of a back foot, actually, in stage 2, which was a little bit weird. But Dayfly, a very accomplished Ana player. He can also play Zen. Neptuno's got a large, deep hero pool in terms of supports. I don't think it'll hurt them too much here.
So, yeah, exactly. I don't think it's going to be hurting them too much. However, I'm still a little bit worried, but not so much so, because they are running EQO. That guy right there on your screens. And the thing that, you know what I like about him, Golden Boy? He makes the plays, you know? He slams it down, he slams it home.
He's
like the
not
Brenji, much like myself in the ranked games.
Just a lot better.
Again, anyone
it's
can
almost
attest
the
to
same
this.
thing. Like almost exactly,
on the
but
same level.
completely different.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, me and EQO, we got this bond going, right? We're mentally linked.
Does he know? Does he know about this one?
No, only me. It's one-sided affair.
Okay,
but
that's all right.
At the end of the day, all I'm saying is EQO, what a guy, what a player, what a
It's
Genji,
like
man.
EQO is the Sour Patch Kids, and you're like the off-brand version. That's really what you are. You're like the Rite Aid brand. You know, you're like the 99-cent store. Just walked in. I want to get some candy. Oh, this doesn't look all that good. Meanwhile, I'm eating, Sour Patch Kids.
Why are you gonna put me down like that?
I don't know, but I just wanted to plug Sour Patch Kids.
You can't stop Golden Boy.
You're welcome.
When
You
he's
can't
on a
stop
roll
the
like
show,
this.
baby.
Are you, none of you going to defend my Genji here?
No, not at all.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this is no. Moving on, Poppy. Okay, so this is a great matchup. Really excited for this. Who should we be looking out for in this game?
Well, it's gotta be Savyolvi. Honestly, he's one of the most consistent traces we have in this league. And if we're looking at his performance in Stage 2, he notably changed his playstyle. Most in the last match we saw against the Houston Outlaws. Usually we see him actually going for the DPS players of their opponents to, create some space for his own team and also create security for his supports. But last time we saw him playing, he went straight for those back lines, and that's a big change in that playstyle from New York.
All right, Bren, question for you, my buddy, my G, as you like to say.
Sure, of course.
If Philly are going to upset NYXL again, how do they do it?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, Golden Boy, because I got some keys to victory to explain and talk through, and they are beautiful, if I do say so myself. I don't know when they're coming up onto the screen, but they will be eventually, and here they are. It's try to adapt. This is the first one, right? And this is where I wanted to slam in my Dragon Ball Z reference, because this is what Philly, basically this is what New York need to do, right? They get beaten down. They lost the last time, but they're like the Super Saiyans, right? They're like the Saiyan race, okay? They come into it, they get beaten down, they come back stronger, and that's what New York are like. They got to adapt to the game plan as it's going down. Number 2, bring down Savyolvi. They take care of this gen, they're going to have a much easier time of things. Because, I mean, we've all talked about him. The guy is like a hard carry, okay? You're grinning. You're liking this, Golden Boy. I can already tell. Wait for the third point. You're not going to believe what it is. Don't read the screen. It's win the tank war, okay? They got to win out this tank battle as it goes out. Fraggy, more than capable, alongside the rest of his team. They do this, they got an excellent chance of winning this match.
You already used the Dragon
Don't worry
Ball Z
about that.
reference.
No.
There was no reference,
You
to be perfectly
and
honest.
Mr.
He
X
just
says,
randomly
I
said something.
recycle jokes. This guy over here.
Bren's-
Yeah, but it wasn't even good. There was no reference. You just randomly used a Dragon Ball term in no relation to
analogy.
what we saw.
Let's not
no.
dig too deep about it.
let's
Yeah,
not.
let's if we dig deep, it requires logic, which right now we just
I got
simply
tons of it.
we're gonna have to talk about this in the break for a moment. But the good news is we have some Overwatch to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Are you excited for this game? Because I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty pumped. East Coast Throwdown, baby. Let's go ahead, send it over to your casters. It's Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Golden Boy. That's right. We are ready to get things started with New York Excelsior versus Philadelphia Fusion here in our second match of the day at the Overwatch League. This is an exciting one to me, man, because New York looking for a bit of revenge against the only team to take them down during the regular season of Stage 1.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Philadelphia, especially coming back with EQO now. They did it the first time with Shadowburn.
Yeah.
And with EQO in the lineup, we've seen how this team has really evolved this stage by adding this new young 18-year-old player to the roster.
Right. I mean, he's been great in the matches that we saw him in. In their last one against Seoul, we saw a bit more versatility out of him. The Widowmaker, the Soldier, the Roadhog as well. A little bit more than the Genji that we kind of knew him for initially. But today for Philly, one thing we're going to want to keep an eye on is Dayfly in there on the flex support role. Boombox, as Philadelphia tweeted just a bit ago, is apparently out sick. So feel better, man. For now, though, Dayfly going to have to step it up against a pretty tough opponent.
Yeah, the last time we saw the Fusion play on Volskaya, they did lose, but Dayfly was in the lineup. They're 0-1 on this map so far. Dayfly did play the Sombra on the defense, so we'll see if they are going to be using a similar strategy here to start things off in this matchup.
True enough. Assault's been a tough map type for Philly. They haven't had a ton of success in the stage with this one, so A little bit of work to do, and you know, I mean, Doomfist, yeah, I mean, Torbjorn, why not? But I guess Philly deciding to just take a dive and swap up the comp anyway. Oh well, we can hope. But for now, it's going to be a bit more normal. Bit of a diving going on from Philly's defense with Neptuno over on that Ana again. And meanwhile, on the New York side, maybe seeing something a bit different.
Yeah, it could be running a Reinhardt here.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
on point A. We'll see if they actually go with that. The Orisa also not a stranger to New York. They do like to play Orisa and go on some slow pushes.
yeah, and I mean, Libero on the Hanzo on your screen, that is, do not adjust your set. That is something that he actually plays a decent amount, and I think arguably Libero is one of the best, if not the best Hanzos out there, so you add that with a bit of McCree, a bit of shield from Reinhardt, that's a solid poke comp. Libero will swap it over to the Roadhog, but we will still see a bit of poking, bit of picking going on.
So this is a slow push from New York. They anticipated seeing the Sombra based on Philadelphia playing it previously. And when they don't see it, McCree is going to swap up probably to Widowmaker here. So they were thinking they might see the Sombra, but are not actually going to run it. Instead, they will go full dive.
Wow, dive time.
Very interesting. So you can see the research there. And we discussed last time New York played when we saw them up against the Houston Outlaws. They were really tailoring strats to the opponents. You can see that once again here.
Yeah.
But once they receive the composition information, they are happy to play dive versus dive.
True enough, and Sabi will be going to have to take that Tracer versus Tracer against Carpe, which should be a pretty lit matchup.
That should be. The supports are on the other side. This is a three-pronged attack from Philly. You can see the supports and the tanks on the opposite side.
Well, New York trying to get onto the supports right now. Fraggy, meanwhile, D-Mex Meko, EQO taken down by Mano here. Fraggy out already, so New York Excelsior finding some success early on in this attack. There's a D-Mech onto Poco, and Sabi will be cleaning up in the back lines. This might be a very fast point A for NYXL.
Yeah. See the reflection there on the bio grenade too. And New York, that was a beautiful execution. We keep praising them for how well they set up and then execute these plays. That time it was both DPS on the far side, tanks on the low ground. And what they did was the tanks reacted to this, where they were going to jump on either the DPS or the supports, depending on which side collapsed first. That time they go to join their support line, and Sabielby and Libero mostly serving as a distraction on the other flank.
Yep, on the Philadelphia side, some ultimates about to come up. They're getting pretty close. They're going to need them as NYXL with a bit of momentum coming into this one. Sabiel B, pulse bomb ready to go. Neptuno gets stuck. That's the Ana out of the way now. And NYXL, the go button has been pressed. They're going to go in with the Transcendence around the side. Fraggy down almost immediately in this fight. Meanwhile, Sabiel B taking a big chunk out of Poco. Libero in the back line with the Dragon Blade. Oh man, EQO bounced back by Arc as he pulls out his blade. This defense kind of falling apart already for the Fusion.
Yeah, Fraggy and Poco are back right now, though, so they're trying to push away Arc and Libero.
Yeah.
They may not be able to do this. Jonak is dead, so the New York Excel lacks some healing, but they're still getting the kills.
Well, the Fraggy Primal Rage is going to be about all that stands between NYXL and 2 points here, trying to delay as long as he can, trying to get those respawns back, but NYXL handling those respawns pretty well so far. Dayfly showed up, immediately died. Now Sabielby has Fraggy trapped. Oh, taken out by EQO though. 2 ticks already for New York. A good push regardless of how this one ends, and they keep grinding it out.
Yeah, they may have to back off with this Transcendence, so Meko is going to get de-suited.
Yeah, I think so. Gonna be in trouble here. Gets the health back, but can he fight Carpe? That's a tough one. Not Carpe and Eco. EQO. I keep wanting to say Eco.
It's natural.
I blame that Dolphin game on Sega way back when.
It's always the Dolphins' fault with, with you, Doa.
That's right.
Always blaming the Dolphins for everything.
Anything that goes wrong, blame the Dolphins. Yeah. They're smarter than they look. Well, New York Excelsior finally pushed back. They did get 2 ticks coming into this next attack with a few ultimates. Philadelphia not a lot to use here.
And with the trance used at the very end, too, this may give them opportunity to get both of the support ultimates up. You can see Jonak and Arc very close to their ult charge right now.
Frankie deep, he has to bounce out. They're going to use the sound barrier now. Libero, booped back by Neptuno, still getting in there for the kill onto Dayfly. Gotta watch out for that Lucio, though. Now he's got the health again, and Neptuno has none. New York nearly has this already. Philadelphia just trying to delay as long as they can, but even sending people one at a time on the card is not enough. Or the payload, rather, in New York takes it with nearly 4 minutes in the time bank.
Yeah, very difficult to defend against that. Simple execution by New York. Pop the sound barrier. You know they don't have any defensive support. Ultimates, pull out the Dragon Blade and start the snowball. Anybody gets on the rest of the point after that, kill them one by one, and you only need that one tick. So New York, the very respectable 3 minutes and 57 seconds in the time bank.
Yeah.
Heading into the Philadelphia Fusion attack round here on Volskaya.
It seemed like what New York was doing a very good job at is isolating and eliminating individual members of Fusion and just never letting the Fusion fight a straight up 6-on-6.
Now, I'm curious to see if New York is actually pushed to defend the second point, because we only got to see them play this 1 point against the Houston Outlaws. So they did prefer a dive defense. They have been defaulting to dive recently, and so we did talk to Arc after their last match, and he confirmed what we were looking at on the screen, which is that in this stage, on this patch, Saeb will be not peeling quite so much for the support duo. So New York has adjusted their play style to a more aggressive one based on the current meta, and it really looks like it has been working out for them.
Yeah, you kind of feel like Sablebee's been a bit unleashed at this point to go seek out those 1v1s, get in the opponent's back line, farm up on the tanks. And Philadelphia, now their turn to attack here. They're going to put EQO on the Widowmaker, something they have done before.
Yeah, you really see this in the reflection of the stats of this game. Dayfly and Neptuno have combined for 10 deaths, which is about half of the 22 deaths so far on all of the Philadelphia Fusion members. So they are being targeted here. Saeb has 8 final blows, 11 eliminations, and only 1 death. So they need to be able to control him a bit better.
Solid, here we go. The team in orange on the attack. Philadelphia Fusion going to try to equalize a pretty epic time set by NYXL. A little bit of high ground advantage first for Poco here.
Certainly manageable, though, if you are the Fusion. You can get a quick snowball rolling with some ult charge off of a successful first fight, and
yeah, for sure,
you can equal or exceed that time.
Lots of hope. EQO playing this Widowmaker on the low ground. For a few picks, now the dive comes in, gets away. His team is there to protect him. On the point right now, if you can get a shot on the Arc. Oh, but Libero comes in. Genji being sneaky, good kill on the EQO. Poco on the run now, he's gonna get D-backed. Carpe, meanwhile, did kill off Libero.
Nice res, though, onto EQO.
That might make a difference.
A very good opportunity here. Even though the D-Mech has come through from Poco, it's still a 6v5 for the Fusion.
Yep. Might be able to make something work, but no, Mano getting aggressive here. Going in, only about half health. He goes down, there goes Sabielby, and Sabielby responds with a pulse bomb from beyond the grave on EQO. New York not dislodged just yet, but it's getting more and more in Philly's favor here.
Yeah, it is. Libero finally makes it back to the point, but still 4 versus 5, and Arc will fall to Carpe.
Good stick from Carpe on that pulse bomb, and Fusion taking this point pretty quick here. They're gonna get the Transcendence out of Jonak, actually. Libero coming in with the Dragon Blade, a big one here. Could turn it around, but no, gets denied. And Philadelphia still fighting it out, but now the respawn's coming back. Mano and Jonak both picking up kills, and Carpe on the retreat. So somehow, some way, New York trying to stabilize. It's still on a nice edge, though.
Yeah, Mano's still there, though. They're waiting for the respawns. Libero coming back right now. Fraggy and Poco. There will be about 1-man power play here for the Philadelphia Fusion before Libero can return.
That's the plan. Another stick comes in. Did he get him? Arc, the victim of many pulse bombs today, apparently. Fraggy also grabbing one, too. Jonak will not be 1v1. He wins it against the Carpe. But Fusion still putting more progress onto this point. New York scrambling to try to keep this one alive, and I don't know if I don't know if Jonak can win that one. That's a lot of help to burn through.
I mean, still, this stall has been about 1.5 minutes right now for New York. They've been at a disadvantage this entire time, but they haven't actually given up the cap until right now.
There you have
5:35, lots of ultimates used, but they maintained that nano boost. At the end, New York Excelsior holding on to A far longer. I think they had any right to. EQO now switching to the Soldier 76 for the second point. No changes.
I was a bit worried
for New York
when Jonak used that Transcendence to delay, but he's built up another one so quickly that it shouldn't be too much of a concern for NYXL.
Well, just Jonak things, right?
Yeah, he tends to be very liberal with the uses of the Transcendences. That was another one, but he gets it back so fast, man. Libero's nearly D-mech already.
Libero was nano boosted right there.
Interesting. No Dragon Blade though, trying to build up to it. Thought maybe he'd get with that one a bit quicker. Either way, the team wins the fight. Philadelphia does have to reset, but yeah, maybe a bit of miscommunication there on that Dragon Blade.
I think it was a mistake because I think he jumped in front of Mono.
Oh, that's possible, yeah.
He generally.
Ooh.
Well, that's a late
Goodbye.
stagger. Carpe was low and hanging on the backside of the point, trying to make his escape. Can't get away in the end. So New York now working with a lot more ultimates than Libero.
EQO.
That's
a dangerous place to poke there, or to peek rather, for EQO, and he pays for it. Now Philadelphia trying to come in with just 5 members of their team. That's going to be tough to push. Just going to stand by the doorway. That's a big delay, losing EQO like that.
Yeah, they have 2 really bad staggers. First Carpe, then EQO. You lose about 30 seconds when that happens.
Yeah.
And now they're, at best, going to find themselves with less time in the time bank.
Sid will be ducking back to grab that health back. Philadelphia on the point again. Frankie gonna dive in. Poco on his own here. Really low. Did they get the D-Mech? Maybe the Transcendence? No, it didn't save the mech in time. And Mecho's gonna get him with his own self-destruct. Goodbye, Dayfly. Dayfly. Getting played maybe as the knife comes out. That's gonna be a Dragon Blade for Libero as he dives back onto Fraggy right now. Fraggy falls, and that's gonna be another hold from NYXL.
Yeah, but the Resurrect did force the Dragon Blade out of Libero, so they did make New York commit a lot of important ultimates to that fight. Arc still working his way up to the sound barrier. So EQO should have a excellent chance to use the Dragon Blade to clear out the members of the Excelsior.
Neptuno swapping over to the Lucio now. So we're gonna go with Lucio Zenyatta for this second stage of the attack. Philadelphia made a lot of changes in their recent attacks on this map against Seoul in Point B. Mostly with what EQO is playing, but now he's gonna just stick on the Genji this time around. Oh, that's a low health Mano.
Yeah, he's
Gotta
got
watch
the
out,
Primal
he's going
Rage.
deep. Yeah, Primal Rage has to be used there. He's gonna jump right through Dayfly. But he's still gonna get focused a little bit. He may be in trouble here. Can he get away? No, he can't. It's still a 1-for-1 trade, and it's gonna take longer for Dayfly to get back.
And now EQO's coming back with that Dragon Blade.
Yep, that's
Maybe
right.
another opportunity. He's looking right now. Wants to use it if he can. Carpe's going to grab Libero.
All right, that's a big one. Carpe winning that big 1v1, and Philadelphia coming out way on top in this team fight right now. EQO pushed back a little bit for the rest of his team. Still holding strong. Pulse Bomb comes up. Didn't quite get the D-Mech. Meanwhile, EQO, now the Dragon Blade happens. And Arco, he can't get back
Gets
to
both
full on.
supports.
So close, but that is a lot of people down for Philly, or for New York rather.
It's all
they may
about
be able to just
stall
take this one
now.
right
It's
here.
only Samuel beyond the point. Everyone else is respawning, but they don't have much wiggle room.
Now that's a sound barrier, should close out the fight. So yeah, send people in 1v1, but no, they can't keep someone on the point. So 1:51 left in the clock for Philadelphia Fusion. They do finish the map, but at a bit of a slower pace than NYXL.
Still a chance to take it though, and that was a good last push from the Fusion. Very patient in the way they approached it. I love that EQO saved that Dragon Blade until he could get into a corridor with both of the supports. Got great value out of it, and that's what caused the end snowball to make sure that that point wasn't stalled for too long.
Very true.
Now, I'm curious what New York does, because when we saw them on their first defense, they overplayed for the Widowmaker. They traded DPS for DPS, and the reason why we didn't see that a lot last stage, a lot of the dive composition, was because making those trades when there's a Widowmaker and a Mercy means that the Widow is just rezzed.
Right.
So that was a huge factor. You can't overcommit with a Mercy on the enemy team to diving that back line unless they're applying more pressure, because you're just trading that one for one, especially when you're on the defense and you have the longer respawn run times, is not ideal.
Definitely. So Philadelphia Fusion on the attack again. They do have a bit less time in the time bank, so they will attack first in our extra rounds here on Volskaya Industries. We'll see what they can get done with it. 2 minutes is certainly time to take a point or two. 3, 2, 1, go. Philadelphia on the attack again, going dive one more time.
They're going to be coming in with the dive, so no Widowmaker this time around, so they're not going to run the Mercy either. They're going to try and play for the supports on the high ground, but Echo is already there trying to protect them with Mono.
Wow, big dive comes in, but Arc throws down that bio grenade, and EQO and Fraggy falling early. tried to take out those supports in the backline, didn't work out. And there's a shot from Sabielby to finish off that fight.
It's very important when you try and execute these kind of dives against an Ana that the D.Va is there with your front line, because you have to defensive matrix the bio grenade. Otherwise, it becomes virtually impossible to win a fight with even numbers of players. Meko was already standing on that high ground as well.
Yep.
So better coordination needed if you're going to go off of those after those supports.
Very true. Over on the high ground. Firing down the Fraggy. Arc, meanwhile, trying to defend himself and his tank here. The back lines, they take a break on the point for the moment. They'll have to re-engage again in a moment. Trying to keep JJoNak alive. Philadelphia Fusion moving towards that first take, but JJoNak with a big pick on Nakarbe. Fraggy responds, as does Poco. Sabielby backed up quite a bit, and Philadelphia crushing this fight right now.
Poco gets the kill, so they are going to drag the healers off the point, push them away, and destroy that front line. So Philadelphia looks like they will be getting a third point here. 30 seconds more on the clock and a chance to grab 4 points. Send us even deeper into this Volskaya.
That's right. Well, now it's time to take that momentum and use it. Unfortunately for Philly, no ultimates up at the moment. They're gonna have a couple soon, but they don't have a lot of time. Only 30 seconds in the time bank left.
30 seconds.
And nano boost available for Arc, so we'll see if it gets onto Mono this time.
Yep.
Where
go.
it definitely should go. Goes on to Libero, he's got a nano blade actually.
Got an attack, man. Yeah, that nano blade coming out. Libero getting in the back lines. Oh, but EQO right there to save his supports. Big play as Philadelphia storms back onto the point. Now they need to keep pushing this. Poco D-Mech, that doesn't help you too much. Transcendence from JJoNak, just a delay. Gonna be into overtime after the Zenyatta ultimate's over. Now EQO waiting for it. Pulls out the Dragon Blade. Got the sound barrier to keep himself healthy, and Philadelphia winning a pretty resounding team fight, but again, the respawns will be coming in.
Mono is here, he's still in the Primal Rage. Arc on the point, and that'll be EQO falling.
Yeah, that's right, New York trying to just push Philly off the point again in overtime. That bar's gonna drop faster and faster. Poco, D-Mech, Fraggy takes his turn to come in, trying to regroup as best they can. Carpe, darting around the outside of the fight, needs to get to that health pack. Has to back away, and they can't quite do it. So it's going to be 3 points for Philadelphia Fusion. You know, with only about 2 minutes, that's not bad.
Yeah, Philly was so close to opening that wide open, because you have to punish those nano blades. First off, that was not the ideal play for the New York Excelsior. The reason why we see fewer nano blades these days is because it's putting so many eggs in one basket, and you don't have to do that. You want to nano boost the Winston there, force the Transcendence out of Philadelphia Fusion, and then come in with your own Trance at the Dragon Blade when they have to dash to the point at the very end.
Right.
So some pretty sloppy ult economy from New York Excelsior. Philly nearly taking a big advantage out of that situation.
Well, it's kind of, you know, ignoring one of the oldest rules in warfare, right? Where you don't let your opponents choose the battleground. If you go to where they want you, you know, you're kind of taking a big risk, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it would have helped Mono get his Primal Rage just a hair faster too.
Very
you
true.
send him outside of the point, onto the Zenyatta, make sure that they use the Transcendence out of the point, and then when they have to fight you on the point itself, that's when your own Trance comes out, that's when the Dragon Blade comes out.
That's
Instead, you make a very cocky play, try and send the Genji out of there, he gets domed, and then you're fighting what could have been a very convincing losing battle. So
Indeed. Here we go. New York Excelsior on the attack. Nearly 4 minutes in the time bank to try to do a bit better than Philadelphia Fusion could in their time bank round. More dive incoming. It's a day of dives so far here on Volskaya Industries.
it's not surprising given both of these teams. Philadelphia historically in the Overwatch League has been focused on dive, and recently New York has been focused on dive. Stage 2.
New York kind of playing this one safe. Sort of skirting the outside of the point right now.
Yeah, they're doing it a different approach this time. So their DPS are with their tanks, and they are going to wrap around both sides of the high ground and try and collapse on the back line.
Wow, okay, yeah, they may be in trouble. No, Mano, the one who's in trouble. He's going to go down early. Good defense from Philly, but they do lose Carpe. Might be enough. Meanwhile, Libero back on the point again, a little bit low in health. Sabielby trying to keep Fusion trapped in that room. They're gonna have to get back on the point now. Yeah, as one tick is taken, Philadelphia back on the defensive fight. Fraggy chases people down, and maybe with this Dragon Blade, they put another big amount of eggs in the Libero basket. Neptuno shuts that one down in a hurry.
It does, but they're not on the point, though. That's the thing about Philadelphia. Now Carpe rejoins his compatriots and stops the second tick from happening, but that was nearly 2 ticks given up there because Philly was so busy chasing down the DPS in the back line that they gave up a little bit of time on the point. So New York's going to be coming back now with Arc.
Just such a lot of pressure from Sableby and Libero just to kind of keep Philadelphia in the big health pack room, and Philadelphia feeling they couldn't quite get out.
Carpe is slowing him down right here as they approach. Jonak heading up to the high ground again. Transcendence available to him. EQO has a Dragon Blade.
All right, Sableby getting very aggressive on the supports in the back line. Has to use that recall early. Libero cuts down EQO. Mano falls, though, and now the Transcendence comes in from Fusion. They're going to try to fight it on the point a little bit later. Zen Ultimate from NYXL right now. Sableby going in. Really would love to have a Pulse Bomb about now. Self-destruct. Poco can't get back in the mech. That could be devastating. Although NYXL without their Zenyatta right now, no Jonak.
Dayfly just got nano boosted.
That's right, yeah, doesn't help too much. Dayfly, bloodthirsty Zenyatta, but there's only so much you can do.
He killed Libero during the Dragon Blade. I guess you can't argue with that, Doa.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he put it to use. I respect that. Sound barrier from Arc, wow. New York just getting desperate here, man, to clean off the last members of Philly off this point.
Now, they had to use everything, though. So even though the nano boost looked a bit rough, it does actually end up having value, forcing them to use the sound barrier because the Dragon Blade was unsuccessful. So it's not, sometimes it's not the result you want, but it works out anyway for the Fusion.
I don't know, you know, Dayfly is going to cherish that moment. You know, that moment where he was the Zenyatta that got nano boosted in Overwatch League, and he killed a Genji. You know, it feels good.
Killed an ulti Genji.
That's right.
Good stuff.
Doesn't get much better than that. New York Excelsior trying. All they need is just one more tick on point B here to beat Philly on Volskaya. Fraggy getting really deep. Wow, that's bold. Here comes the Dragon Blade, though. EQO gets Jonak, all right, with a bit of support from his tanks. Gets an important kill, but meanwhile, Libero fighting it out on the point, and New York not pushed back just yet.
I mean, you get those kills, but Sableby and Libero were off harassing your supports. EQO now doubling back, and they get a tick out of the equation. Or not barely, they didn't get it. It was so close to winning.
If they would have got the tick, they would have won.
Yeah, 1 pixel away. That was fortuitous timing for EQO to come back.
He saves the day again.
Back cap was nearly very real there.
Yeah.
As Carpe and EQO simply shoved the supports off while Philly's committing in the front of the point.
Now New York down to 30 seconds remaining. They have to get something going here. This one's going to be a draw.
Only the self-destruct from Mekko. They're waiting for Jonak. They want the Transcendence before they push.
That's right. Carpe in the back lines. Once again, self-destruct getting used. Transcendence for Jonak. That's a pulse bomb. Meanwhile, Libero comes in. He's getting a lot with that Dragon Blade right now. On the point, gets 2 already. Push back, gets the health pack though, and it's all New York. Looks like they might be able to take it right here. That is it. And NYXL comes in, and finally a Dragon Blade comes together for Libero, and that will win them the map.
I don't think it was a good idea for Fusion to use their Transcendence that far in front of the point. They traded the trances, but it also gave an opportunity for the Dragon Blade from Libero to be used further back onto the point.
Yeah.
So I think you needed to fight that one out and trade your trances a little bit closer to home.
Sure enough. Well, that's a 1-0 so far for NYXL. It was hard fought. But New York coming out on top in map number 1. Philadelphia with a chance to tie things up as we look ahead to Nepal, our control map. We'll see that when we come back in a minute. Don't go anywhere, guys.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
My name's Rich, AKA the Great Root Bear, and I'm the founder of the 5 Deadly Venoms here in New York City. As we're heading in to the start of Overwatch League, there were a number of us that were looking for a place to watch the game. I found Waypoint Cafe. Ask the owner, hey, are you gonna be showing the league games? They say yes.
The biggest thing, though, for the cafe was the huge uptick that we got ever since showing the games with the 5 Deadly Venoms crew and everything.
I had seen a lot of esports. I've watched a lot over the years, you know, and seeing Overwatch was something special. We just kind of got together, and it was about a group of about 15, 16 of us that came here opening night. That started an entire train of things, and slowly but surely, we've just started growing.
Please make some noise and welcome the squad from the Big Apple. It's the NYXL.
Oof. The 5 Deadly Venoms, I would say, are just as enthusiastic about New York XL as any, like, hardcore sports fan. The people that you see who go to, like, football games and tailgate.
When the teams were started, for the first time, you can choose from any team you want, any style of play.
Oh, a sleep dart from Ark! Are you kidding me? This guy is crazy!
But I'll tell you, New York Excelsior is a very different kind of team because they've probably got one of the most personable sets of individuals that you can have.
Xavier will be going crazy right now. He gets spree, are you kidding me?
This community here at the cafe is super passionate about Overwatch and extremely, almost over-the-top passionate about New York XL.
The payload moving forward, and New York does it! What a king's row that was!
Sometimes we do get worried that we might get a noise complaint because we're not really issued as a bar.
What's really great about the 5 Deadly Venoms is that we're really about rallying around both the players and the team at large. The beauty of this is that it's about how the community comes together in each of these areas and makes something for themselves, something bigger than themselves, that rallies behind that flag of New York Excelsior.
And that is it. New York Excelsior will complete the sweep. Some fan clubs all over the place, but the NYXL one, man, a little bit something special going on there, it seems like.
It's really exciting to see all of the fan clubs and these group watch sessions springing up in all the cities around America and also even in London and places like Seoul. So
Sure enough. You know, here's one drawback of being a caster that people don't really realize, that we don't get to really do that. Like, I would love to just be able to go crazy and like be a fan of some of these teams, but you know, you have to separate yourself a little bit sometimes.
Doa just hates
this
them all
position.
equally.
That's right. No, what? No, that's you, man. That's you. I love
I
them
was
all
getting
equally.
myself,
Yeah,
I'm getting myself
that's right.
confused with you. So.
I know that happens sometimes.
It happens after you've casted together as long.
True enough. Yeah, that's right. Where does Doa end in Monty? Let's. Anyway, we're going to Nepal, guys. It's going to be our control map. Oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed. Well, I'm interested to see what New York runs
Look, it's
here.
a RoboCop.
It's a
Optic
RoboCop
there.
Optic.
Yeah.
That's nice. Cleaning up the streets in the future.
That's right. I guess. Well, no, he's decided that he's just going to chill out as an officer now.
All the streets are clean, I guess.
The streets have been cleaned. That's right. No more cleaning to be done. Only serenity now for RoboCop. RoboComic? RoboCopnic?
Move from Detroit to Nepal, I guess.
There you go. Yeah. Need a statue of him too. All right. Well, it's Nepal. 1-0 so far. This stage for New York on this map. Philly, not so great, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah, 1 and 2 overall, but some of those maps have been played with Shadowburn, clearly. I'm curious what we are going to see from the Philadelphia Fusion. They have run Pharah in the past, EQO. We'll see if he's going to equal the skill of Shadowburn on the Pharah. Looks like they are actually going to go for the Roadhog here. Now, Excelsior has liked to run Pharah Tracer on this Village, on Village, rather. So.
Right.
They are going to go back to that. They may have a bit of trouble with Pharah, given their composition.
Yeah, I would say so. Not a lot of long-range damage to handle Libero on this pick.
And especially not from this distance as he starts to fight the high ground. So no high ground attempt here. Only Sabiel will be coming around on the high ground flank.
Sure enough, so Libero just taking the time, doing some damage. Sabiel will be trying to flank like he's mentioned, but had to back away. Yeah, I do like EQO's Roadhog. I think we saw him do some
Right,
great things
great
with
on
that on Kings Row, yeah, especially. Where that stands out for me. But Philadelphia realizes, hey, we've got the bigger bodies. We can just go onto the point right now, draw Libero in. Libero needs to respond to this, backs up again. The rest of his team has to get there too. And right now, Philadelphia takes the point. They will get the control percent building first.
And this is where it's problematic to have this far. Well played by Philadelphia. Slow push, wait until the control point unlocks. Otherwise, you're just getting Dayfly up. But unfortunately, Dayfly will fall just before he gets that coalescence.
Now with Philadelphia all grouped up, and that's going to be the cue for New York to try to take advantage of that. Lots of damage being done. New York almost flipping the point back already themselves. They do flip it, so just like that, they muscle their way onto the point and push Fusion off.
Now, both these teams played that fight very well. Clear objectives in mind with these team compositions. Philadelphia playing the patient, support, ult, charge game, waiting for the point to unlock, and then daring New York to come down, knowing that that Pharah has to get in within hook range, within Diva range for the boost, and getting in Pharah's face with the micro missiles. So nicely played by both teams, and each team getting some of the control percent built up already.
That's the idea. Here we go. Coalescence used. There's a stick. Savi'll be not claiming any kills with that one, though. Backing away. I'm waiting for that barrage from Libero. Yeah, he's setting up for it. Oh, has to back away, though. It's Fraggy getting aggressive. Gonna wait out that sound barrier. Now he's got Poco to deal with, turning around the side. Carpe in a little bit of trouble here, cornered. One more rocket. Oh, it doesn't quite get the direct hit he was looking for. Neptuno, though, gets the kill onto Jonak.
Yeah, Poco.
And Philadelphia.
Poco just harassing Libero, trying to keep him out of the sky.
That's the plan.
And he's still got the tanks here onto the point. Libero will fall to Eco.
Yeah, that's a lot of defense matrix, eating most of that barrage, and the rest of the damage not enough to deal with the tanks. Mano just trying to delay as long as he can. He's nearly got Fraggy, actually, but yeah, just stay on the point.
Poco, though, nailing Savi'll as he's trying to exit and rejoin his teammates. So maybe an advantage here. Jonak taking out Poco may turn this in the favor of the Excel.
Well, this has been a pretty amazing stall, actually, by New York Excelsior. They were losing that fight, and they just pulled back, played very defensively around the point, and look at that, they helped.
That's just keeping those bodies on the point and keeping the players alive until the respawns came in made the difference here. Knowing how to cycle onto the point is one of the biggest skills you need to be a top-level Overwatch team, squeezing every single second or percent out of an objective.
Speaking of percent, 99 for New York right now. We're into OT. Dayfly down early on. Meko trying to defend as best he can. They've got Philadelphia Fusion a little bit split there. And yeah, no more supports, no more healing for Philly. And they are in big, big trouble. That should be about it, yeah.
Fraggy's gonna fall, and that's gonna be the last one on the point. Dayfly cannot get there.
And New York Excelsior taking round number 1. Had to bring it back a little bit there. They were able to do it.
You do love seeing matches like that, though, when the styles of each team around their compositions are so clear.
Right.
And Philly, I think, had a great idea of how they were going to approach the Pharah, knew that it was going to be coming into play, but every time they sent Poco up to deal with Libero in the sky, Savi'll was collapsing onto their supports. So he couldn't be in both places at once. And pushing Libero out. He never really got the kill onto Libero, so by the time he backed off, they were already at a disadvantage.
Yep. So we will go to Sanctum next, our second round here. On Nepal, NYXL, a win on this round would win them the map. Philadelphia trying to tie things up, and now it's Meko taking that Roadhog out. New York swapping things up, playing a bit more defensive comp this time.
Oh, this is very different. They did run Pharah on this point as well for Sanctum, but going back to something we saw a lot of in stage 1 for them. Using the Orisa, Roadhog combination, going fishing with the halt and the chain hook.
Yep. That's right, you can stay very stable behind that Orisa shield.
Having Savi'll on the Widowmaker. It's basically a pure pick composition.
Oh, Poco. Oh, whoa, okay, he had the charge. I was worried there for a second, but he was able to get out. Now getting the back lines. And Meko, the one who gets booped off by Neptuno. That's super aggro support. Neptuno striking back again, and it's going to be New York, though, taking the point first. Savi'll be cleaning house with that Widowmaker.
Unfortunately, that one kill couldn't offset the eliminations that New York Excel had already picked up.
If only like kills got more, valuable the more humorous they were. Then
You guys score
Lucio
style
would
points.
be in great shape. Yeah.
Style points would be
That's right.
Absolutely incredible. But
Spawn time moves longer or something.
yeah, this is about as pure of a pick composition as you can get in Overwatch. You're damage boosting the Widowmaker at all times right here. You have the Zenyatta to try and catch people as they come around corners with the volley. Everybody has to play perfectly on the side of the Fusion, not to get caught out by a halt, a hook, a volley,
Or Junkrat grenade,
or
perhaps?
Junkrat grenade. This is a lot of single target pick that you've got here from New York.
Yep. Oh, Mano down. All right, it's a big shield out of the way. Philadelphia with a chance here to fight with a man advantage.
Libero has the Riptire. It is deployed onto the field right now. He's waiting for the commitment.
Whoa, gets low, but he gets fraggy before it goes down. Jonak on the point as well. Now the Transcendence comes out. Arc went ahead and popped his Valkyrie too, so a lot being committed to this. Oh, but there's a boop again. Neptuno strikes one more time. And Philadelphia with a great start here. Good by Mono. This fight really going the way of the Fusion.
Yeah, and they use both support ults on the New York side for that fight. Meko desperately on the run here, but he is merely an ult battery getting farmed for that charge by the Philadelphia Fusion on his retreat. So Philly now have a strong point here to push off. Libero wants to move to the Pharah. Sambilby over to the Soldier 76.
Yeah, you wonder a little bit if those support ultimates had been a little bit more staggered, if that would have turned out differently for New York.
Really what I wonder is why Mono walked to that far forward and got picked off in the first place.
There's a lot of things to wonder about with that last fight. Either way, New York going to come back. They still have 63%, so they still are nearly double Philadelphia right now. EQO very low. Oh, and Jonak strikes
just
him
before
down.
the sound barrier.
Out of the air, that's right. He misses the shield from Neptuno. And now Philly scrambling a little bit here. They do get Mono though, so the good start. Oh, look at that. They've got New York backed up into the corner, but Meko right there to turn it around.
Yeah, who's going to deal with Libero, though? He is free firing rockets into the point. With Meko down,
Doesn't matter.
Mono already dead. They don't have to worry about it, like you say, and Dayfly will get a Transcendence out of this as well.
Yeah, you can't take the point on your own with that Pharah. So if your entire team dies, you're just kind of bobbing around sadly in the air.
It always is depressing to bob around sadly as a Pharah.
Indeed.
Not picking up any of those kills, watching supports get their ultimates.
Like the Wizard of Oz, when he left, then he kind of wanted to come back. But he couldn't because he didn't know how it worked. That's an old movie. Carpe. Oh, Arc popped that Valkyrie again. There's the Transcendence from Jonak. Trying to keep everybody alive. Arc taking a lot of damage, and now Carpe with that bomb. Maybe couldn't do it. Libero really low here. He needs some healing.
And now the tactical visor coming through. They can't finish off Libero, so Carpe's still trying to harass from the flank, but he's not going to be able to deal with his EQO. Needs to be huge with this Dragon Blade.
He can put this one to bed right now. 99% for Philadelphia Fusion. EQO gets one kill anyway. On to Sambilby. Now just trying to chase away the last members of NYXL. Meko popped out of the mech, taken out as well. He's not going to live. There we go. Overtime, ticking. Arc dives in to try to delay. He's got Mano there as well with the primal rage. Mano with an opportunity now to make a big play, but the sound barrier comes in from Neptuno one more time. Dayfly grabs a kill, and I think that's it for New York. No, they get back there one more time, and overtime ticks too fast. And we are tied up here on Nepal.
Great job exploiting some mistakes from the Excelsior for the Fusion. They are able to come into their control over the point with a massive advantage in ult economy, and they pressed that through beautifully. So
really
Fusion's been given a lot of opportunities by New York here. They almost took control of them on Volskaya, and here they are starting to push that advantage very hard.
Yeah. See, Poco looking pretty pleased there, but you can't blame him. That was a great round for Philadelphia Fusion, and now they got to bring it home. A win here on Shrine would win them the map. Comes down to this. Libero starting things off on the New York side on the 76, it looks like.
Yeah, this is how they've played Shrine previously. So going back to Poke, seeing if they can deal the upfront damage with the Soldier 76 and have Sambilby or Mono finish off any low HP heroes, which means they are going to try and play from a distance here, especially before the point unlocks.
Sure enough.
Right now, you see Philadelphia carefully playing around the terrain. They don't want to give up any of that poke damage early, and now we're going to see the fight break out in earnest.
Yep, that's right. Carpe doing what he can. Backing away, Philadelphia and New York both trying to use that central pillar for a little bit of cover here. Meko has to go back for some healing. Carpe gonna loop around the side, finds Jonak very, very low. Recalls, he saw Jonak turn. That's a scary thing to think about. Philadelphia has the point halfway captured so far. New York needs to win a fight here. Maybe with that D-Mech they can do it, but no, Philadelphia will get the control percent going early, but the fight's still going. Sabielby drops. New York can have a tough time turning this one around right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. Mono
Way tougher
trying
now.
to get onto the point. They've got to retreat. Philadelphia wins the war of attrition. Thanks to picking off Sabielby at the start of the fight. They're going to keep on going, though. Transcendence and Tactical Visor force out the sound barrier.
Yeah, okay, so they get the support ultimate out of Neptuno, but Philadelphia just goes ahead and backs away. New York onto the point right now. Philadelphia is still gaining percentage, obviously.
That was a big commitment, and Dayfly caught out at the start, so they found themselves without that Transcendence, and now New York going to turn it back.
Hey, it's just like Village again. New York didn't necessarily kill everybody on the Fusion side, but they pushed enough of them off that they were able to flip the point. Yeah. I'm surprised that actually worked.
I think that
did not start well for New York.
It didn't, but had they not killed Dayfly instantly, then it wouldn't have worked, because they would have just used the Transcendence and had the attack visor and not gotten much out of it. But after that pick, they surprised Philly. Philly was not expecting them to re-engage.
Fair enough. Now Philadelphia trying to re-attack here. They've got ultimates to use. Carpe uses that pulse bomb. Doesn't look like he came up with anything from it though. Nothing on the kill feed. So EQO poking away. They get the Primal Rage out of Mono. Getting a little bit melted here. Now Libero on his own, kind of trapped between a few members of Philly, but Meko comes in with a big play again on that Diva to save his DPS. Now the self-destruct coming in. Libero dodging that one. Meko did get the kill on the Dayfly as well, but Carpe not gonna let Libero get anything else accomplished in this fight. New York trying to flip this one back again. Philadelphia did take it for the moment. Looks like they may just barely get it back here.
Yeah, nice stall though. Fraggy hiding and waiting until we saw Poco die just to get those extra percent. Carpe escapes back towards his spawn with his life. He's still going after this duel with Sabielby. Rest of the Fusion now coming around where Sabielby's looking, all of them.
Well, this is definitely going to be a big test for Sabielby in general in the Tracer v Tracer. Okay, one of the best. Mano down early. EQO finding a big kill there.
EQO a bit too far away. Jonak has the Transcendence, so
didn't get
a chance to fight on the point. Philly pushing their way in.
Well, they've got the sound barrier. That's a lot of extra shields to go with that. They're going to get the Transcendence out of Jonak. Now Libero with that Tactical Visor, turning things around. Oh, and EQO taken out. Fraggy tries to chase, but that's too much damage coming in from the 76. The Helix Rocket doesn't quite connect full, but Fraggy, oh man, he was so low. He had that shield cooldown though.
And that ult battle may have turned the tide of this entire map, Doa. If EQO had been able to get the kill onto Libero with the Dragon Blade, instead the Tactical Visor does its work.
Yeah.
And New York able to repel the Fusion once again. It's do or die here, and Fusion doesn't have a lot. They've got to get that Transcendence.
99% for New York Excels here. It's overtime. Sabielby coming in the back lines, trying to finish off Dayfly. Oh, but Dayfly gets the kill anyway. Libero soon for revenge, though. And Fraggy low again. Libero trying to protect his back line, looking for Eco. Knows that Eco may have a bit, but no. Now the Genji down on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. And New York Excelsior coming out on top here. That's going to be a D-Mech onto Poco. Gonna go ahead and use that self-destruct. Can they get him before he remechs? Yes, they can. Meko with another kill there. And the respawns can't get there fast enough. That's going to be New York Excelsior winning a second close map in a row.
This has been a very exciting series so far, and we know the Philadelphia Fusion have it in them to complete a reverse sweep. But these maps really could have gone either way for these teams, so I'm really excited to see what we get in the second half.
A 2-0 lead for New York Excelsior, but you watch those maps, it didn't get much closer than that. Neptuno with some pretty sick boops there. More action coming up in halftime. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
New York is doing the 5 Deadly Venoms proud as the XL are only one map away from getting that sweet, sweet revenge over the Philadelphia Fusion. They lead 2-0 at the halftime. Welcome back, everyone. Goldenboy here alongside with Brendan Sideshow as we break down games 1 and 2. And I mean, NYXL, while they are up 2-0, the theme here, these games have been incredibly close, gentlemen. Philadelphia Fusion are playing NYXL the way I think we all expected them to. They just aren't eking out those wins when they need them.
Yeah, it's actually been ridiculously close, I think, across the board between these two teams. Much more than we were maybe anticipating, given Philadelphia's recent performances and how good we know that New York are.
Yeah.
But I think as well the fact that they're running Dayfly, which they wouldn't normally do as well because Boombox is actually sick, so they can't run their usual starting roster. The fact that they're still playing up to this level, very, very promising. In fact, even so, like, these maps have been super close. Like, the control sector of Nepal went to round 3. Volskaya was, like, on a nice edge from being a draw, essentially. It was just a few minor switches ups with the ultimates. And I mean, we're going to jump straight into these clips here that we got Volskaya Industries.
Yes, and at the beginning, it was all Saviobi as well. This guy has shifted into a more aggressive role. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the game, they've had to make adjustments. They certainly haven't gone like London did for completely counter-stratting Philadelphia Fusion. And London destroyed them when they did that, just 4-0. But New York XL have made slightly more subtle adjustments to their playstyle. But over on the other side as well, Carpe was coming out with huge plays. These two fat ultimates, Carpe with massive sticks on point A, and then EQO pulling out the Dragon Blade here. It was a theme that went throughout that they were closing it out with Dragon Blades. Now this is another play that I want to highlight because it's something that's happened pretty often here, is that Fraggy and Poco tend to be very aggressive and single-minded with their dives. I think this has been one of the issues with them, has been that they don't really set up their positions as well at the beginning. They take a lot of damage on their approach. It's very easy to read where they're going. I think NYXL are reacting to that, and it's making it a lot easier for New York than perhaps it should be.
Yeah, Fraggy's gonna have to look to adjust that.
Yeah, a lot of other Winstons, they take like a side route and then they'll flank you, or they'll come up behind and you had no idea where they were coming from. Whereas Fraggy, you can plot his trajectory as he goes
you
towards.
just see it. You're like, and now, oh, okay, there he is. I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. All right, but then in Nepal, right? We thought that if there was a time for the Fusion to strike, it was now, and they got darn close to doing so, taking this one the distance against NYXL. doing everything that they could. But I did want to mention Fraggy again and Dayfly, because that final fight would have been so different had they not died. Like, you know, had they not died before the ults came up, because what was it? Dayfly had just got Transcendence, and then on top of that, Fraggy had just got Primal
And
Rage.
EQO, as you saw in that final highlight, had just been killed using his Dragon Blade by Libero's Tac Visor. So I agree with you, all of these fights just on a knife's edge, as you were saying.
So to sort of talk about Philly more, I think, because I really do want to highlight just how good they are. Like, normally, for stage 1, I sort of assumed, not assumed, but like from looking at their playstyle, I sort of labeled them as a team that was unrefined. That's the word I would use. The fact that their dive's a little bit, you know, uncoordinated to a degree. Shadowburn was definitely sort of this lone wolf play style when he plays the Genji. He's out there, he's trying to make plays himself. Whereas this version of Philadelphia Fusion, whilst they're still playing the same role, so you know, you might not be able to at first glance see the differences that they're doing, they are playing a lot more conservative in terms of their dive. They're still aggressive, which is the impressive thing, right? But it's like every single player has a leash on them. And if they get too far, they get yanked back, and then the entire team is playing like
kind of like what we have with you.
Exactly, like when I'm out in public and I have to be around you. So you get the leash, and you make sure that I'm not trying
actually
to eat people's dinners.
strap a backpack on your back with a leash, and whenever you go somewhere,
what is that called? It's like a children's.
I don't think you want to know what that's called. That's a
child
mental image.
I put a harness on Bren, and I just walk him everywhere I go.
Is that weird? Is that not normal?
No, that's perfectly normal. Don't worry about it.
It's America, man. It's perfectly normal.
I agree with you in your interpretation of how Philadelphia Fusion play. I think the thing that is making them struggle at the moment, that London completely read and Seoul and NYXL are now just finding it easier, is that they're so readable. You know exactly what playstyle they're going to play, and you know exactly when they're going to initiate. They have no subtlety about their play. They are still pretty one-dimensional. It's just that they're so good at what they do that they can still like wipe the floor with some of the lesser teams and give the top teams a really close game.
Yeah, but this is not over yet, and Philadelphia have the upset potential. They have the capability to be able to bring this one back, and who knows, maybe we'll get an exciting Game 5. One can only hope. But in any case, though, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, it's going to be Kings Row. Can Philly come back, or will NYXL shut them down? We'll see you on the other side.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
your hands together for the NYXL. Welcome to the stage, the Philadelphia Fusion.
Right, he gets the feedback. Meanwhile, EQO, now the Dragon Blade happens. And Arc, he can't get back to the
supports.
Yeah, post bomb. Meanwhile, Libero comes in. He's getting a lot with that Dragon Blade right now. On the point, gets 2 already, and it's all New York. Looks like they might be able to take it right here. That is it. And NYXL comes in, and finally a Dragon Blade comes together for Libero. And it's going to be New York, though, taking the point first. Savior will be cleaning house with that Widowmaker. Now the Transcendence comes out. Arc went ahead and popped his Valkyrie, too, so a lot being committed to this. Oh, but there's a boop again. Neptuno strikes one more time. Again, Echo with another kill there, and the respawns can't get there fast enough. That's going to be New York Excelsior winning a second close map in a row. Well, I said it best myself at the end of that highlight video. It has been 2 very close maps so far.
I always trust you to say it the best.
I know, that's right. I've never quoted myself going out of a break, but here we are. Yeah, that's right. But I was right. It's been 2 very close maps, haven't it?
Yeah, hasn't
it? Been 2 close maps, haven't it? That's right.
And we are going to see a substitution. Janice will be in for Mono here on Kings Row. And I'm very excited to see what the NYXL do on this attack. Because, like we said, they've been reviewing a lot of the film of these teams. We saw them have very specific strategies when they went up against the Houston Outlaws. And in this map, the last time they ran it, they played Pharah and Widowmaker on attack because they knew that there wasn't going to be a lot of verticality to the defense coming in from the Outlaws. And what we've seen from Fusion has been EQO on the Roadhog, Reinhardt, D.Va, with Tracer and Moira. So they've been playing the point. They haven't been playing with a lot of verticality. This is going to be a mind game between these 2 teams.
Very true. So, this is the map that Philadelphia actually did win against Seoul.
Yeah.
But NYXL are 4-0 on this map already in stage 2. So, what do you say? You know?
I think it's going to be an interesting map. I think
it will.
Philly showed a lot of skill taking that map off of Seoul. It was a very exciting Kings Row. And I'm very interested to see how NYXL is going to adapt their tactics. We already saw in Volskaya, they were anticipating a Sombra. They ran a counter Sombra comp. And then when they saw that there was no Sombra, they immediately just ran back into spawn and changed over to dive.
Yep.
So we could see something similar here from the Excelsior because Philly's going to run pretty much what you expect, except they are going to run the Widowmaker instead of the Tracer. So this is an adaptation in case there is a Pharah.
All right.
Jonak going to serenely meditate underneath the NYXL logo.
Indeed, the deity of the NYXL spirit.
Is that the spirit of the Excelsior?
I think so. I think so. DPS Zenyatta.
Abstract.
That's it.
It's quite abstract.
Thank you. I think.
So, Libero may be on the Hanzo. Running double sniper here would not be strange. As we have seen throughout Overwatch competitive history, on point A attack of Kings Row, you can set up many crossfires, and they are going to roll with it. And this is great. They can take out Carpe with one of 2 snipers. You can't be looking at a Hanzo and a Widowmaker at the same time if you're on a Widowmaker yourself.
Very true. I always love getting to see Libero play Hanzo. He's the best in the world at it, in my opinion, and this has worked for them in the past. We'll see if it works for them right here, right now.
This is such a comfort pick for Libero because back on his old team, Meta Athena, they used to run the double sniper with his old DPS partner, Saya player, who will soon be on the Florida Mayhem.
True enough. Solid Tracer right there, too. Here we go. Now, New York's starting to contest. Philadelphia getting pushed back a little bit. That Reinhardt shield getting very low. The scatter arrow, Libero throws it in as Philadelphia retreats back into the hotel. That was the idea. They wanted to force him back
now. Carpe's down. He gets sniped out by Sabielby. Sabielby also takes out Neptuno.
Yeah, and Libero just giving chase. He's got that scatter arrow. Doesn't need to use it. And it looks like they may be able to get a kill here as they go up, but no, they don't even need it. That's going to be point A.
It's so hard to defend against that with the composition that Philadelphia used. Not only are you trying to cover for 2 snipers, they also have the Mercy damage boosting one of the 2 snipers at all times. So unless Carpe was going to hit some crazy headshots, New York Excelsior is happy just to stand there and poke at them until they find a pick.
Yeah, it's like suddenly you need to 1v2 at range, a couple of the best DPS in the world. Like that's a tall order for anybody.
And you don't have a Tracer or a Genji to get in their face. You have no way to dive them. You don't even have a Winston to push them off. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
True enough. Well, here we go. Coalescence from Dayfly trying to help Philadelphia push in again. Sabiel B not being deterred too much here. Backing up. They're just going to wait that ultimate out. And move back in. Whoa, Meko finds Carpe actually somehow. With that self-destruct, that is not a place where Carpe should have been caught. And now Sabiel B on the high ground. Raining death from above, but not in the normal far away. EQO very close to getting DMAC right off the bat. He will be. Jonak going wild on the Zenyatta meanwhile. And New York Excelsior going to get some serious distance on this payload.
That they are, and they're going to come away with it with a Transcendence too. Fusion is working up to some big ultimates, nearly at the Bigger Bang grab, self-destruct combo. So if they don't get it, the Graviton Surge defense matrix by Meko, they may be in business to create a longer push here on point B.
Now they've got a solid chance to defend again here at the end of point B.
Infrasight has been used, so that's what's causing XL to back off right now.
Yeah. And Janus needs to be very careful around the outside there too. They can see him.
Shatter is up.
Yep.
Waiting right now for some of these ults to be utilized, but...
Oh, Sabiel B gets Dayfly. Another snipe coming in from the Widowmaker. Dayfly picked off, and Janus finds Carpe. That Primal Rage being put to work. Meanwhile, Jonak loading up the orbs, takes a big chunk out of Fraggy, puts the Orb of Discord on him, and now Libero just... Oh, that's not something you want to turn around and see. Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, though, it's just too late. They lost too many members before executing the combo, and they only got one because the Transcendence saved Jonak while he was in the Graviton. So that actually doesn't work out very well for Philadelphia as they commit a wealth of ultimates to that fight, and now they're all going to be swapping up.
Yeah, it's like I talked about earlier, though. They get like extra comedy points for Libero being like, what's behind me? And like, oh, that's not good.
I think you really have to commend the coaching staff of the New York Excelsior.
Whoa!
As we see, that's a nice scatter arrow under the feet of Fraggy, but their adaptability with their play style, they are playing entirely differently than they did against the Houston Outlaws. Look at how they just fade away from the Fusion.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so hard for the Fusion to get any kind of ults on them because they simply couldn't force them to engage.
Well, New York has always been a more defensive team, and part of that is playing just a more measured style in general. And keeps looking better and better. They're going to actually zone out
nearly
Dayfly.
died.
That's right, Dayfly can't even leave spawn for a little while. Meko waiting for that self-destruct, maybe time pretty soon here as they try to finish this one off. Oh, Carpe does win the duel with the Widowmaker onto Sabiel B. New York losing a few people here and there.
They are, but they don't get anything out of the self-destruct. Meko trying to make this work, wants to kill the support. Transcendence down for New York.
Yeah, that's right, keeping everybody alive. Now Carpe and Dayfly, the only ones on the point, but they should be able to delay it long enough, maybe for the respawns to come in. Dayfly down, can they stop them? No! And New York gets there. A pretty quick round, or pretty quick attack rather, for them.
That was a beautiful attack from New York.
It really was.
I think
3:12 on the clock. Wow.
The first 2 points in particular, you could tell the Philadelphia Fusion, even though they were struggling against the range of the Excelsior composition, they did not want to switch off because they said, hey, we have all these ultimates, but you never got a chance to use them because every time they tried to walk up, the Excelsior would just retreat. They would disappear and continue firing from range at Philadelphia. And they waited for the picks to happen. You get a couple members down, and then you say, all right, use your Graviton, use your Earth Shatter, use your Self-Destruct on us. It doesn't matter because we're already 2 players up in these fights. So Fusion not adapting fast enough. Sometimes you have to be willing just to say, all right, these guys have our number. We have to get rid of our ultimates because we're going to have a better time if we can actually contest the double sniper, and they never really made that switch.
Well, King's Row can be a very unforgiving map in that if you lose one fight, you tend to lose most of a point at that point.
Yeah, it's true.
And part of that is those long sight lines that favor all the poking, the picks coming through that. Part of that is the fact that the flanking rounds do exist, but they are very long. So if you do a big flank and it doesn't pay off, that's a lot of time and positioning lost. So it can be a tough one, yeah, if you're in that situation where you have all these ults, but not really the scenario that you can use them in.
Yeah, and speaking of those long sight lines, will be Sabilby here on the Widowmaker. So New York Excelsior has chose to play a dive defense against the Houston Outlaws, and now they're trying for this very defensive comp again. They realize that they're Outlaws and Fusion are at opposite stylistic ends of the spectrum. Outlaws are very defensive. Fusion are aggressive. They like to run the dive comp. Carpe gonna come out on the Hanzo himself this time.
Yeah, throws out the Sonic Arrow. Will he stay on the Hanzo? For now, it looks like he will. Steps in a trap. He's not going anywhere for now. And he gets around the back.
They're gonna try and rotate through the hotel. EQO is staying by the statue for the moment, so they want them to commit to the point. EQO is gonna try and fish for a hook on the flank.
That's the plan. His hooks have been pretty good. He's been very choosy about when he uses them.
Carpe is on the backside.
Oh,
Beautiful
man.
play from Carpe.
Man, Sabilby had no idea he was right there, and Carpe took advantage of it big time. One tick already for the Philadelphia Fusion as Carpe falls back. But it's orange all over the point right now. And I don't know if New York can do a lot to stop this.
That is such a bold play from Carpe. You love to see playmaking ability like that.
Yeah.
Supports are trying not to get picked off as they walk past the window. Both Jonak and Arc will escape to their team.
Right, well, you load up the scatter arrow before you do the wall climb, and that's a tough thing to defend against. You don't get a lot of time to respond.
The reason that was so good from Philadelphia was that New York clumped up. They were trying to avoid the hook from EQO, and what that led them to was a trap on the backside from the Hanzo. Weren't expecting that. We're focused on the Roadhog hook, and that's when you pop up with that wall climb, and Carpe keeps getting these scatter arrows.
What in the world was Jonak doing there, though? He was trying to flank or something. Got caught? I don't know. That was weird positioning. Libero, meanwhile, shot out of the air by Carpe. What an arrow. Man, that is not easy. Carpe putting on a clinic with this Hanzo right now. Meanwhile, Nano Boost onto Janus, trying to just get some purchase on the payload, push Philadelphia back as best he can, but no. He'll need to run away.
But you have to think about that in terms of value for the objectives, Doha. They used both of their support ults and they got virtually no payload movement.
Right.
So that really was not very worth it for the Fusion, and they're going to be playing into the Transcendence now. So the stall here working out for the XL.
Fraggy setting himself up for a 360 Earth Shatter here. We'll see if he can pull it off. Nope, just jumping down. No Earth Shatter. Sadness there. Oh, well. Back on the payload. A lot of damage on him, and here comes the self-destruct. Gets his shield up just in time, but now he goes for the charge. Bold moves, but he will go down. You know, bold moves and Fraggy are pretty synonymous.
I mean, he had no choice. He had no choice. His barrier was destroyed by the self-destruct, and Jonak was shooting him with orbs, so you might as well go for the Hail Mary charge at that point in time.
You gotta go for it.
He was dead. So maybe he could create a stagger opportunity or open up a hole for his team, but not going to be the case. Libero now has the Rip Tire as well, so only the self-destruct used by the XL, and they are going to be coming back around. Look at Libero on the flank right now. He's trying to keep eyes on Carpe.
Yeah. Libero with another Rip Tire. Waiting for it. Looking for a victim. Doesn't find anyone
he got
again.
the damage onto
Yeah, it was enough. It was enough damage onto Fraggy to lead to that easy kill for Janus, at least.
All right, that time Fraggy was too far forward, and he was definitely punished for it. Went into the pub.
Yeah, wow, New York pushing Philadelphia pretty much back to spawn at this point. Still 3 minutes, though, for Philly.
Sabiel's still going to look for a couple of these kills onto supports if he can get them. Jonak holding his Transcendence for quite a while here.
Yep. Philadelphia coming in. Fraggy already taking a lot of damage. Carpe. You can maybe get somebody over the top there. Sabilby gets the DMAC onto Poco. That's a rough beginning for Philadelphia. Carpe now. Oh, nice shot onto Sabilby. Right at the feet, and here comes a Dragon Strike. The Transcendence doesn't really need to be used there as New York backs away from the ultimate. Now Libero standing tall.
Man, dangerously close to a Rip Tire too. So they can fall back, protect Libero if they try and walk up onto the cart.
Yeah. Philadelphia back again. 2 minutes left. They really need to get something going quickly. Point C can be a grind, even if they take this one now. It's going to be a struggle. Libero going to try to make it more of a struggle with this Rip Tire. Looking for some victims. Oh, Fraggy! Oh, he gets caught. Libero finds him, separated from the rest of the Fusion. And things just have been going not so great for them on point B.
No, and Fraggy keeps getting separated from the rest of his team. He's walking up, and the Riptire every time seems to zone him out from his supports because it's so well timed. They know they're trying to make an approach. Fraggy's just a little bit too far forward, and so he's the one who has to peel off to the side. It is keeping the support safe in this instance, though, but it's still having the desired effect of taking as much time off the clock as possible.
Some swaps from Philly now. Carpe on the Tracer, Fraggy on the Winston, giving up on the Reinhardt in favor of a bit more dive.
I think this is wise at this stage. You have to be able to deal with this low mobility composition. You have both DPS and both supports without a lot of mobility. There is a nano boost, though.
That's right, Janus comes in. Carpe does get Libero, though. Janus, so looking for victims, trying to keep Philadelphia pushed back. Philadelphia not deterred, though. Janus pops that Primal Rage. Only a minute remaining now for the Fusion. And they're going to push New York back, actually.
Yeah, Poco going to self-destruct to zone out the supports and make sure he remechs. They need to make this push work.
Well, yeah, they're dedicating the sound barrier to it. They want to win a fight pretty resoundingly here. And New York could still delay. Meko comes in onto the payload. Only 2 meters remaining to the end of point B for Philly. They're so close, but so far with the amount of people New York has there. But now no tanks. They cut through New York in the end, and that'll finally be point B. But only about 2 minutes for Philadelphia to push this the rest of the way. Maybe with the kills Eco's getting, they can get the payload far enough. That was a pretty clean team wipe in favor of Philly.
Yeah, New York swapping both of their DPS over to Genji and Tracer just to try and finish the map at B. Now Sabielby wants to play on the Widowmaker again.
Yep.
Recommitting. Libero, though, needs to be able to push these members of the Fusion off the high ground.
Oh, with the time bank so low, picks from a Widowmaker mean more and more. Frankie getting chased around a bit by Janus there. That go up on the high ground. It's a bit of healing. And New York being so cautious right now. Letting Philly get a little bit more difference, or distance rather. Transcendence comes in. EQO waiting out. The ultimate here, a Libero and Arc go down. The dive working so far for Philadelphia. Transcendence a bit late on the New York side. Jonak not getting it. Oh, nearly booped off the edge. Doesn't matter though. He's gonna get cut down almost instantly by Poco. And whoa, Philly winning this team fight pretty handily. These respawns, I think EQ's gonna deal with these pretty well. Yep, that's gonna be it. Philadelphia finishes it. Not quite as much time in the time bank, but they get the job done.
Yeah, they definitely get it in the end. EQO patient with the Dragon Blades, and that's what pushes them over the top and into the time bank. So still a chance here for the Philadelphia Fusion to keep themselves alive in this series. They will have a minute on their attack as we take a look at Poco's point of view, working through the Transcendence and then doubling back, realizing Jonak had just completed his ultimate, so a chance to take him out as fast as possible.
Yeah, Poco has been a bit different than we remember him in Stage 1. Stage 1, he was just that dude getting tons and tons of self-destruct kills, but now kind of becoming a more, I think, well-rounded D.Va player.
I definitely agree with you. You can see that a lot has gone into creating a Poco from the coaching staff that is more responsive to protecting some of the players than focused on getting the big self-destruct kills.
Yep. So a little bit less flashy, but hey, if you're
more reliable.
I was gonna say, especially if you're a support on Philadelphia, I think you appreciate this style a bit more. You get to live.
I definitely think you do. Yep. And New York will be defending first with the larger time bank. Sabielby on the Tracer now. Libero on the Junkrat.
Philadelphia on the attack. Carpe this time going with the Widowmaker rather than the Hanzo. EQO once again on that Roadhog.
It's going to be really difficult for New York to play against because they can't stay in sight, but with the Moira, D.Va, and Reinhardt, nor can they really stay on the point. Yeah, Carpe now on the Hanzo.
Janus down already, EQO. Maybe with a hook there to bring him in. New York missing one of their tanks at the moment. One tick already for Philadelphia Fusion. Carpe untouched here as he swapped over to that Hanzo. Now he has to watch out for Sabielby. Sabielby trying to duck and weave, but the rest of his team getting taken out so quickly. Oh, no long-range shot, but it doesn't matter. Philadelphia Fusion gets the payload rolling almost instantly, but we are in time bank, so just about 10 seconds left, and then it's going to need to be a very long OT push for Philadelphia.
There is no good answer to that if you're New York. You have to stay in sight lines because they have more presence on the point with the barriers and with the triple tank.
Yep.
But you're playing a low HP, fragile composition, so unless you cycle on the point perfectly,
Oh!
win that. However, Carpe caught out.
As able to be able to move quick, take him down with the help of the rest of the team. Now the Riptire coming in. Libero, if he can push people off, he can end it right there. They get Neptuno. New York looking like they don't want to let this payload move very far at all. Whoa, big pulse bomb comes in onto EQO overtime. Again, expiring so quickly, you can't leave the payload, not even for an instant. Self-destruct comes in, goodbye Poco, and goodbye push for Philadelphia. They took point A, which is really important on Kings Row, on these hybrid maps in Time Bank, but unfortunately for them, weren't able to push it that far.
Absolutely, full hold, a possibility here for the Philadelphia Fusion. I'm curious what style of composition they are going to run because they got outstratted, outcomped by the double snipers because they played a composition that was expected of them. It's what we've seen them play on Kings Row. And they may just do the same thing again, Doa, except this time they're going to mix in the Tracer instead of the Widowmaker.
Well, it's all about the delay, of course. I mean, if you can get that full hold, all the better. But if you don't, I mean, that payload doesn't need to move very far to win it for you, New York. But even if New York does win this map, that's going to be 3 really close maps in a row for these two teams.
Yeah, I like this change though because when you play the Widowmaker with this composition on the defense, then you have to be in the sight lines of the other snipers in order to get kills. And the 2 snipers are looking for you to create a 65 advantage because they're not going to break through the barriers, the take a breather, the Moira healing. That's not really feasible with a Hanzo Widow combination.
That's right.
So now that you have the Tracer, you can stay with the rest of your team better. You have more mobility to try and flank on the snipers instead. It's not going to be that, though. They will be playing Samuel also on the Tracer, so not going quite so hard, and that's the Forest switch. That's exactly what they want to do. New York reacting beautifully.
Yep, that's right. So Philadelphia can have a hard time defending against this. Not a lot of damage effective against this Pharah at range. Libero already getting the damage done.
Yeah, I think this would probably be better if you saw a Reinhardt on the side of New York so you could take the point.
All right, Jonak down. That's a good start for Philadelphia, but they got to keep the momentum up. And that's going to be tough with Dayfly out of the way again. You just can't do anything against this Pharah. Libero having a field day here.
Yeah, probably get bounced towards the members of New York, trying to get into that hotel, will escape and try and charge out.
You have to try to back up. You have to try to get yourself in a position now to fight that defense right at the choke here because you're not going to be able to stop New York from taking point A. And now they still have 2.5 minutes actually in the time bank.
I don't think there's another team in Overwatch League that's as intelligent about their strategies and preparation as we're seeing New York right now.
Well, they've just been so quick to adapt
Yes.
in a lot of these maps.
They are ready for what Philly is throwing at them. They have watched the film, they know how they play with this composition, and they're making adaptations even as Philly adapts at the same time.
Yep. Now Libero, big barrage. Could finish it off right now. We'll see what he can do. Trying to get in the back lines there. There's a Coalescence, takes on Neptuno anyway. Barrage right onto Dayfly. Oh, why not though? Little bit of defensive matrix, sucks up some of that ultimate, but the DMAC comes in onto Poco anyway, then the delete as well. So Libero gets 3 if you include the DMAC, and that may end not just the map, but also the series. New York gonna take this one with 3 maps won already out of 4.
That moves New York up to 5-0 in Stage 2 on Kings Row. They have been so dominant on this map, and you see why. It's been such a close series, though. I mean, Philly is adapting very well also to what New York is throwing at them, but New York just a little step ahead.
Right. Well, it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, then more rock, then more paper, then more scissors. But it's like who can throw out the counter faster?
It's been really satisfying to watch.
Absolutely.
These two
It's
teams
been a
go
great
at it.
match so far. 3-0, but we've got one more map to play, guys. Don't go anywhere. Philly with a chance to at least get a single map win right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back, guys. We are entering our fourth map here between New York Excelsior and Philadelphia Fusion. NYXL, 3 map wins in a row. They take the series, but as we know, and as we say every single time, every map matters. So Philadelphia still with a lot to play for. We do have a sub on the side of New York.
Yeah, we do. We are going to have Mono return to the mix. He's back for Route 66. I really am amazed at New York in this stage 2. This was a team we thought would struggle with a change in the meta, but they have not. In fact, they look more Protean, more able to change.
Wow.
Yeah, Protean. More able to change than ever before. It's so hard to nail these guys down because it looks like when we see this match against Philadelphia, we saw their match against the Outlaws, they have their opponents downloaded. They know in advance what you're going to play. They know how you might even adapt to that, and then what they're going to play against your adaptation.
Yeah.
It's like they're a step ahead in every regard. And this is the quality of having a stage of film now under every team's belt. As we continue moving forward through the Overwatch League, we started out, many of these teams had never seen professional play before, but now they've got so much footage to look at.
Right.
And good coaching and good game plans are going to mean much more than they did in stage 1 from here on forward.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? This is an organization-wide effort, right? Because you've got these players who need to be able to adapt on the fly and use that information that the coaches and the analysts are gathering for them. I mean, none of these players has time to watch all that footage themselves, but their coaches do. And they're the ones who say, hey, you know what, this team does this on this map, be ready for it. Players doing a good job of reacting to that.
I think it's equally amazing how it's not just compositions, it's play styles. New York was targeting Raucous heavily in their against the Outlaws, and today it's been about playing defense. They look much more like the Excelsior from stage 1 when they play against the Fusion, because they know how to deal with the Fusion's aggression and their propensity for dive.
That's right. Here we go. Mock battle between Dayfly and EQO. A Dolphin again. New York Excelsior on the attack, and it looks like they're going to be going for, well, they were going to be going for a bit of poke, but now the adaptation again.
Yeah, so they
checking with the Sonic Arrow, and now Libero over on the Reaper, actually.
Yeah,
interesting.
Fusion on Route 66 ran Shadowburn on the Sombra last time they played. Hence the McCree trying to pick off people if that Sombra's going to come out and oh boy, well, or the Tracer. If any of those come straight at your face, that's when you fight. And not only that, they double down with Libero on the Reaper. This is purely a counter Sombra composition here. You're going to get hooked, you're going to get flashbang, and the Reaper's going to camp the health packs so nobody can actually walk up to them and charge the Sombra ult. Just fantastic from New York.
For the longest time, teams struggled with how to deal with this Sombra defense on Route 66, and this is one of the ways that's really started to work.
This is the maximum Sombra defense here.
Absolutely.
Or Sombra counter, I should say.
Well, you are defending against what Sombra can do on defense. It's a defending defense. I don't know. Coalescence coming from New York now, but there's the EMP from EQO. Can he take advantage of it? The team needs to follow this one up again. Meko gonna get hacked. They can see he's got the ultimate, can't use it because of the hack though. And New York still finding the kills in this fight anyway.
And that was a good job by Jonak to preempt the EMP. He used Coalescence before EQO could get in position.
Right.
They knew that there was going to be a last EMP fight before they took A, but when the healing's already coming in onto the members of your team, it matters much less if they are hacked.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. Quite so.
And now EQO staying on the Sombra. Now, usually this is where you would swap, unless you can take control of the Mega right by the doors to the payload. You don't typically stay on the Sombra pickup. You don't even have an EMP there.
And it's a hook. Oh, Neptuno did not see that one coming, and now the whole hog comes in right away. The response, oh, and the stick onto Mano. Can't take a breather through that. The whole hog leaves no room for breathing, but once again, the DPS from New York coming up big to keep this push going.
Trying to get Dayfly there, Jonak.
They do.
Will finish the kill and chasing away the other support. So failed defense there from the Philadelphia Fusion, stalled out the payload for a small amount of time. Now they have to push back into this Reaper again. Libero going to be sneaking his way up along the, looks like he's under the catwalk right now. Has the Death Blossom, should the Fusion get too close.
There we go. Libero looking to grow a pretty flower of death, a blossom of death, if you will. You don't want to do it when there's a diva around. Oh, EQO taking out Mano, just walks in.
And there's the EMP
eliminates
gone.
him. No
Mano's
kidding.
just free flanking on them right now.
Yeah, that's right. Philadelphia has to use the sound barrier. Meanwhile, Mano still goes back, takes down Dayfly as well. Finally getting back to the payload, but he's already done plenty of work there, and Sabi will be ready to pick up any slack that's remaining, and that's going to be an easy point B for New York.
Like on Kings Row, the Fusion are not swapping their composition quickly enough. New York is running some great counter comps, and you cannot afford to be stubborn.
Yeah.
You have to keep them off balance, and now we're going to see the switch ups. Hopefully, yes, we are. So they are going to change over.
Sombra.
Yeah. Libero going to take the Sombra as soon as he realizes that EQO swaps off of it.
Okay. Yeah, well, a big EMP can be a way to push through towards the end on this map, that's for sure. New York not pushing the payload at the moment, trying to get into position a bit more for it. Philadelphia camping on that one slightly now. Poco gets DMAC'd. Wow, he just got focused out so quickly. Carpe finds a shot onto Libero anyway, though.
Still going to be able to get some ult charge for the EMP, thanks to the New York members that are still alive and heading back to those big health packs.
Yep. Now, meanwhile, Philadelphia dropping back a bit, able to still sit near the payload, stopping it for the moment anyway.
Waiting for Libero to come back, only at 50% of his ult charge right now. Infrasight already up. Sabiel has to be careful about where he positions.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and then Dayfly finishes him off, yep. Might as well be a Widowmaker too.
Everybody else fell back, and Sabiel used his recall to get onto or off of the payload after dashing to it.
Right.
So miscommunication from the New York side about how they were going to deal with the Infrasight, punished by the Fusion.
Now, normally you'd be really worried in this situation if you were the attacking team, but whoa, NYXL going in with the EMP anyway. A lot of time remaining, but they want to win a fight right here. Libero, though, he can't get the translocator off in time. Goodbye, Fraggy, though. Jonak, he's got the nano boost, and now he's going crazy. Neptuno down as well, pops a Transcendence. Might as well be waving goodbye to the rest of Philadelphia Fusion here.
Jonak, the battle mech, goes in on a Zenyatta flank with a nano boost. Are you kidding me?
I'll take it. We're just going to call him Mech Warrior from now on. That's about it. Libero takes on Poco. New York pushing everyone back to spawn, and there's Mano just keeping people bottled up. Oh no, get off the payload. There we go. Now he's going to be moving it again, and uh-oh, that's a problem. Oh, the hook comes in, though. Carpe finishing off Mano, so maybe getting a bit too aggressive there. Carpe actually coming up really big here on the last second defense, but man, was that close.
Well, you can't say that the New York Excelsior are predictable, Doa. I don't think any of us would have predicted that attack. And no, they didn't finish the map, but they sure got a lot of movement out of the payload with it.
Yeah. Moving back a bit now. One does wonder if that was intentional to put that nano boost onto Jonak. I mean, I would not be surprised.
I honestly believe it was, especially because Arc was going to switch off onto the Lucio anyway. So it looked like with only 2 minutes remaining, they wanted to play dive for the rest of the map. So why not throw that Hail Mary? You've got the nano boost. If you're going to reset and swap anyway, maybe you can do some damage and get some movement on the payload. Hey, that's exactly what they did.
Hard to assume that, but with Jonak, you never know. Mano getting a little bit too deep too fast. It does get the Transcendence out from Dayfly. Philadelphia Fusion committing to this fight in a big way. Mano jetting his way to freedom, he hopes. And a Transcendence from Jonak. They're going to come back in again, but EQO still on the payload. It's going to be very tough to dislodge him. Although, with all those kills coming in, maybe they can. Libero looking for a bit more. Charges right into the coalescence.
I would do that.
No, you do not want to go into that, man. That is a big beam of death. Libero. EQO can't survive, though. Now Fraggy bit on his own. Self-destruct comes in.
Nobody's
and
on the
2 kills
point. The self-destruct
for the finisher. They were trying to get there, but Neko had that self-destruct time so well that just wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, pushing people back, and I guess they scared them enough with the self-destruct and the Dragon Blade that the cart began to move. And
there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on towards the end of that one, you know?
That was a very bizarre finish to
it really was.
But I'll take it. It was a hell of a lot of fun.
Sure. Well, Jonak doing Jonak things. Libero unafraid of coalescence. It's like, I'm gonna be just like just gonna dive through, you know? Why not? It's not gonna hurt me. It doesn't do much damage, right? That's what it says on the internet. I don't know if I agree.
Overbold. He wasn't gonna reach back to that Moira with the 1 dash. So now
it's gonna be epic, though. He was like the dude at the end of Independence Day, flying his plane into the ship.
Except with more disappointing results.
But that's true. Yeah, he didn't.
Although New York did finish the map, so he was potentially the sacrifice they
right.
needed for the greater good.
It's like, I'm back. That's right. Only a few months away until I can watch Independence Day again on Independence Day.
We were just reminded that was Randy Quaid in Independence Day. Thanks for the...
Oh, there you go.
Thanks for the...
oh, okay. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Helping us out with the 90s facts. Usually you're all about the 90s facts, so...
I could name a lot of other actors in that movie, but I did forget that one. Oh, well. Sorry, Randy. How about that Phil Pullman speech, right?
Deepest apologies to Mr. Quaid. But it will be Libero again.
It's been a lot of apologies issued lately, I think.
be Libero again on the Sombra. So standard here from the NYXL, Philadelphia Fusion. Yep, they will switch over. Poco will probably not be playing that Hanzo, and Carpe on the McCree to catch out any unwitting Tracers or Sombras who get a bit too close to the payload.
That's the plan. Challenge for Philadelphia Fusion. It's always a challenge to finish this map. You get a bit nervous whenever your opponents do that. NYXL able to do with a bit of time left in the time bank, but Philadelphia to try to equalize here.
We see Libero very worried about poking in onto Carpe. Doesn't want to give an opportunity for that flashbang to find its mark, and instead they're going to hit a sleep dart onto EQO.
Well, that is not where you want to take a nap.
Such patience from New York, and now they have their chance to play more forward. Poco going to get demeched, and Libero will have his EMP.
We've seen a lot of great sleep darts from Ark, and another one on the EQO right there. That's pretty big.
You know, it's really weird with NYXL. They play more Ana than they do Lucio right now, and we had questions about who would be playing that on this roster, considering Jonak historically has had fantastic ladder results maining Ana, but instead it's Ark who stepped up, and Jonak still plays basically exclusively Zenyatta.
Here we go. Oh, not opting to use the EMP right there. Meanwhile, the dive comes in from Philly. Fraggy, though, a little bit too far away, and Jonak's going to cut him down. Libero just waiting it out, and he's hoping that he won't have to actually use that EMP for a little while yet. I think he can probably save it.
Look how passively New York are playing. They're waiting for the Fusion to make a mistake positionally, for Fraggy to go in a bit too early, and then they swarm him like piranhas.
No. Robot piranhas.
Why are they robot piranhas?
I don't know, because some of the members are robots. It's Overwatch, man. Oh, EMP, but Dayfly right there. It's like, you know what? EMP me, man. I'm ready. I only need 50 health to get this kill. Mano coming in. The defense is real. Neptuno gets a res onto Dayfly, but Philly a little bit scattered here. There's the Transcendence now from Jonak, making sure that Mano stays alive as they kind of reset their defense here.
Yeah, Libero coming back in now, so all 6 members now back on the defense for the XL.
Right.
Mano is sneaking around the backside with a Primal Rage. Okay, no, he's not going to do anything crazy. It looked like he might for a second.
Oh, there's a stick. Somehow, some way. No, Dayfly pops that Transcendence. That's right. And Fraggy forced to use a Primal Rage as well. Carpe looking for victims. Oh, but no. Mano comes in, gets flashbanged immediately. Carpe has to retreat. But Fraggy gets a kill into Ark in the meanwhile. Philadelphia Fusion putting themselves on track to take point A here.
Excellent Primal Rage from Fraggy. Got into the corridor with both of the XL supports and killed Jonak and Ark.
Well, he loves to do that, man. Like, pushing back the supports and the rest of the team are pretty much what he uses his Primal Rages for every time.
Yeah, good stuff. And now Fusion still staying in the mix on Route 66.
Nice rhyme.
Yeah, unintentional too.
Good job. All right, Philadelphia starting to slowly move their way through point B, trying to hold on to that room with the big health pack. They don't want to let Libero get in there and hack it. I don't think it is quite yet. May not need to worry about that, though. Echo backing away. There's the EMP. They're going to go in onto Neptuno. EQO falls right away as well. And now Poco in a lot of trouble here. No health. He gets demeched. Yeah, just leave him go. That's going to be even tougher for them.
And this is where you get a lot of value in the streets phase with the Sombra, because you can hack the forward mega health pack. Oh, that's a brutal stagger.
No kidding. I mean, you just don't expect Libero to be back there, and could have been a brutal stagger. Luckily, Neptuno was there with the Mercy to get that res.
Not going to have it any longer, though you are unlikely to need it. When you're playing this close to the payload, you probably won't have a chance to use the Resurrection, so at least you get a little bit of time. But this is where you get the value out of the Sombra, because you can pack the forward pack and the back one, play off either of them.
True. Savior B. Just the threat of the Pulse Bomb is enough to push those Winston back again. Now Mano with the Nano Boost. It's a Mano Boost. He's got to back off before he really gets a chance to use it, though. Echo does get the DMAC onto Poco before going down.
Still late kill. EQO does chase him away, and Save will be harried by EQO on top of the building.
Jonak down. This has become such a scrappy brawl in the second set. A lot of small individual skirmishes going on, but it is Philadelphia Fusion that come out on top in the end.
The nano boost, or the mano boost, as you say, didn't actually work in their favor. Everyone from the Fusion able to scatter away from it and get into the back line instead. So Carpe now looking around the side, trying to keep cover, hold cover over both of those doorways. EMP up for Libero, but they may have to use the Transcendence just to get out of the chokes. And yes, they are. They have to do it.
Yep. Libero gonna try to keep that health and set himself up for an EMP. Translocates back anyway.
No opportunity to use it.
Yeah, whoa! Our Carpe finds a kill on the Sable Beat. Self-destruct comes in. They should be able to avoid that one. Back onto the payload. Fusion heading.
There it is. Hack onto two. Only Poco and EQO, though. That's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they didn't have a lot of people from New York there to really take advantage of that EMP, so that's going to be point B taken for Philly. And they do have 2 minutes left here to try to finish the map.
I do understand why they switched it up. Libero was already going to change over for C.
Right.
Decides Soldier 76 is going to be his go-to instead of the Genji after a moment of indecision.
Damn it. Carpe. Frustrated, at least that's what it sounded like from McCree. Don't worry, McCree.
He's all right.
You've got a
He
minute,
is
45
great. He
seconds.
knows there's a monkey up here. There's throwing some orbs into the doorway. Carpe's not going to let Mano get away with his flank.
Yeah, but now your flashbang's down. Either way, oh, Mano needs to run. Enough damage done.
Mano's life is down now, so victory for the Fusion.
Yep. Yeah, meanwhile, EQO taking out Meko, so this payload is actually continuing to roll forward here, and Philadelphia Fusion almost finishing. Jonak down. Wow, EQO really showing us what he can do on this Tracer now.
Yeah, strutting his stuff on Route 66. Filling in for Carpe as Carpe is on the longer range hit scan duties.
Meko's been an individual hero in the past for New York Excelsior. Needs to come up big again right now. A kill on the EQO helps out. Under a minute now for Philadelphia Fusion to finish this one. Neptuno comes in with the res on the Tracer. Nice shot from Carpe onto Arki. Walked right into that one. And now Mano just trying to scatter everyone here as the Transcendence used. There's a dead eye. Carpe, no shot. Gets around the corner just in time. Mano out of range.
Now the tech lines are coming in, but it's going into a Transcendence and a barrier.
Yeah, but Poco's still getting low. Oh, but lower still is Libero. They're trying to hold, and now it's just about the scramble with the respawns, but that is going to be a big sound barrier from Ark. He got a few people with that one, but Philadelphia still coming in with a couple kills.
Mano's here on the May just to delay as much as he can. Libero wants to play the Roadhog, can even get to the point in time. He's going to get stunned.
Well,
he still makes it.
Can they get it done before overtime? That's the question here. There goes Libero. 3 seconds left. Can they get it there?
Yes, it can. Oh, no. Will boop Meko off. So a minute now in the time bank. And we are going to come down to the wire on Route 66. Only 43 additional seconds for the New York Excelsior. Still a very winnable map for the Fusion.
Oh, absolutely. And again, even a single map win here would be a big deal. And, you know, then this would be a team that, although they lost, you know, they did take a map off of Seoul, taking a map off of New York would mean probably a pretty bright future for these guys in the rest of the stage.
I think they've come out looking strong here with a few minor adjustments. You look at the games they played tonight and you sit and you think, oh, if they had just changed a little bit sooner with that composition, maybe they would have had a better chance to win these games.
Sure enough, on a different day, in a slightly different universe.
Philadelphia was changed their compositions just a little bit faster.
This was a match that went down to just a few button presses different, it seemed like, on a lot of those maps.
Definitely. You look at how close all the maps in this series have been.
Yeah. And on the New York side, you know, you can't really say anything negative about their adaptability, the way they've kind of changed things up to handle Philly, but I do feel like the ultimate usage today from them overall has been a little bit sloppy.
It has been, especially as the series started. I agree with you. That's been one of the big complaints about NYXL in general has been, yes, obviously, they're a great team. They're sitting atop of our standings, but if you have to put your finger on something, it has been sometimes their old usage.
Bruno. 40 seconds now. Philadelphia Fusion moving that payload. So New York banking on maybe one big EMP fight to try to end this one. Ooh, Carpe nearly finding that headshot. Raggy just chasing everyone off the top of Big Earls. This is what it's coming down to. 20 seconds now for Philadelphia Fusion.
Everybody hiding out of those sight lines. The idea is to stop them right as overtime starts. NYXL wants one fight with just the EMP. They're not giving any charge over to the Fusion, and that's the fight they want.
Yeah, this is it. That's the EMP, the ultimate use. Poco demacked almost immediately. Carpe needs to hit some huge shots here if they want to stay in it. Both Divas out of the mechs right now. Overtime expiring. They got to stay on the payload. New York just biding their time, waiting until that bar will expire quicker before really re-engaging here.
And that a boost onto the Winston. Another support down, but Libero also taken out. Dayfly will be resurrected.
Yeah, great res from Neptuno, finding the time to go in there and bring his Zenyatta back. That could be crucial here as Philadelphia continues to push forward. They have won this fight.
Oh, that was really good from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They waited for the EMP. The EMP only hit the tank line of the Fusion, and they only got Poco demeched and lost at the start of that engagement. Everybody else played it safe, and they used the respawn proximity and the Mercy resurrection to continuously have an advantage.
We are still in overtime, and if Philly leaves the payload for even a second, this round is going to be over.
Jonak with Transcendence. EQO on the side. No pulse bomb yet.
Yep. Playing it very carefully as he comes in now. There's the Transcendence on the Philly side. Dayfly using that one now. Jonak responds in kind with his Zenyatta ultimate. Oh, but Samuelby comes in, takes out EQO. Philadelphia, they gotta stay on the payload right now. Fraggy, he manages to find a few victims here with this Primal Rage. Now going deep to try to handle the supports for NYXL. Who's on the payload? That's the question here. Jonak coming back in. They've got Poco, but there's the DMAC with that pulse bomb rather. EQO falls, it's so close. Goodbye, Poco. Neptuno there. They get Carpe, and that is it. So, a big deal for Philadelphia Fusion to take point A. That could have very well won them the match.
Yeah, a couple big all-ins from the side of the NYXL. You can see they were attempting to deathball on the cart 2 times in a row.
Right.
Wanted to win a big 6v6 team fight. First one doesn't work out. Is read by the Fusion, and they play around the EMP. Second one, New York forces Transcendence out of the Fusion a bit faster. They stack their support ults. Later, Trance on the side of New York wins the day in the payload battle.
Well, with such a limited amount of time in the time bank, too, I mean, even winning that first fight against the EMP to get point A,
yeah,
you know, might mean the difference between the map win or the map loss. So New York, no doubt, sweating a little bit here.
I think even though the Philadelphia Fusion have lost tonight, if you're a Fusion fan, you should be very excited for this team because the flaws that we've seen are addressable via coaching. You know what the mistakes you made tonight are. These are identifiable fixes that you can improve on going forward, and it's been so close, even though it's 3-0 to New York. The maps on an individual level have been tightly played by both of the teams.
I mean, they're all the mistakes were fairly minor too, right?
I agree.
And if you played these 4 maps again, you know, it's just as likely that Philly wouldn't make those errors. It's kind of one of those things sometimes. Defense from Philadelphia Fusion trying to get at least one map win here as we go into the attack for New York Excelsior. We've got a minute 30 here on the clock to try to push the payload a bit faster, but getting it to the end of point A is the first trick.
It's going to be a dive composition, so they know, or they're not expecting the Sombra this time, and they're not going to get it. Carpe playing the McCree, a little bit worried about the attack possibility of an attack Sombra.
Yep. LeBron's on the high ground there. They've got
That's a big kill.
Carpe in a little bit of trouble too. He got low, but he got out. Yeah, that's right. Dayfly gets Sabielby. That certainly helps out on the Philadelphia Fusion side of things. Now they're going to dive in. Okay, Mecco demeched. Good start here. Carpe under pressure, but Libero chased away by the tanks. The protection for Carpe has been great from Philly so far.
It's not only the protection, it's his anticipation of the positioning of the New York players. He's been watching all the right doorways and being patient to make these plays. You can see just dedicating himself to staring at a door and knowing that they're going to come through if he waits just long enough.
Yep. Playing it safe. And now, 30 seconds left for New York Excelsior. They've got a lot of work to get done. Carpe up on the high ground. It's all about finishing him off. Carpe turns around. Mano falls early. That could be it. They need Mano there. Without that Winston, New York can have a very tough time. They're going to go into the Transcendence, but Dayfly has his as well. There goes Libero. Deadeye from Carpe now. Can he get a kill? No, they get out of range, but doesn't matter. He can't get kills with it because everyone on New York is dead. Overtime expires, and Philadelphia Fusion will at least come away with a map win here on Route 66.
Excellent map from both of these teams. Philadelphia finding the answer. A lot of it was Carpe having a star-level performance on the McCree.
That's right. So despite it being a 3-1 victory win for the New York Excelsior, it was a close match from start to finish.
Look how close that is. We were in time bank on all 3 of the maps we could have been in time bank on, and it was a 2-1 on control. What a fantastic series of Overwatch.
Yeah, really went to the limit. And really great stuff from both teams, too, both in individual performances and in adapting to what they saw their opponents pulling out. Strategically, both these teams looking very good, too.
I think this is so promising for the future of Overwatch League. When we see matches like this, you can tell that the strategy is reaching a new level in Stage 2.
That's right. The coaching is starting to come together. The cohesion is starting to come together. Really makes you kind of wonder what we're going to see Stage 3, Stage 4 from these teams. Very exciting to think about.
I'm stoked. I am stoked.
That was a serious I'm stoked for Monte Cristo right there. He doesn't need to yell it for you to know he's serious. 3-1 win for New York Excelsior. They're going to continue to do quite well in the series, but oh yeah, the nano-boosted Jonak feeling good. Don't go anywhere, guys. The desk is going to break down this series when we come back in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
right next to me is the ever so handsome Ark from the NYXL. Please give it up for this young man and his team. You guys got your revenge from stage 1 with a 3-1 victory. However, the score doesn't quite reflect how close those games actually were. Did you expect such a evenly matched series?
First of all, I think like play style changes of the SBB impacted a lot. So like first in the season 1 we tend to play with to make support alive, but this season we like tends to kill other supports more. So that pressures us a lot. So and Carpe was really great. So I think like our support struggled a lot, but well, we won, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, you won. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Walking away with a victory right there. Now, looking at one of the maps specifically here, Kings Row. You guys are currently 5-0, excuse me. What makes you so strong on this map? Why are you not losing it?
First of all, I think it has many high grounds, so we can like play more passive as we play always. And also, like, Libero Sanzo is crazy. Like, sometimes he calls like just like damage boost me and I'm gonna kill someone and he kills someone, so like it was ridiculous, I guess.
It's pretty ridiculous to watch and it's a pleasure to watch. Thank you so much for shedding some light into the NYXL for us. Thanks a lot, Ark. We're now heading over to the desk with Golden Boy and the Brits. I'm gonna stick to that name. It does make for a really good boy band. Guys, break down the action.
I like it. A boy band, a sitcom, an anime. It could be anything. Golden Boy and the Brits. Welcome back, everyone. I am Golden Boy, and these are my Brits. See?
Who would be the protagonist?
That audio needs...
I don't know what that was. But who would be the protagonist in our anime?
I don't...
I think it would be me.
You would be
But
the
then again,
protagonist?
you are always the antagonist.
The show is called Golden Boy and the Brits. It obviously would be the global icon
Yeah, they'd
and
think it'd
national
be about
treasure.
you, but it would actually be about me.
I hate you.
So I'd be role-playing as Genji all the time.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And then you could be like Mercy.
I feel so bad for
you.
you.
Could be Mercy.
It's just gone. It's
You
gone
live
already.
with him.
You
You
could
live
be-
with
you
him.
could be
Imagine that.
Like
Imagine.
Lucio. I think you'd be a good Lucio.
You're gone.
Okay, we are going on to the telestration segment of the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yes,
It's all
well,
yours.
Well, what we saw here from NYXL when they attacked, as I desperately try and recover this, is that they ran this double sniper composition. So if we take a look here, obviously you have Libero, and then you have Sabiobi on the Hanzo and the Widowmaker up top here. And this is why it's so good on King's Row, is that Sabiobi basically just locks off this entire sight line so nobody can contest him. Obviously, he's got Carpe to deal with. And then Libero is going to poke. He can send scatter arrows into the hotel, or, which is what he's doing at the moment, apply a lot of damage to Fraggy's shield. And because they know they're running into a Reinhardt, they want to pressure that shield and put as much damage as possible so that Fraggy can't get aggressive and they force him backwards. They're also doing this by getting damage-boosted Jonak orbs on. So look at all of these sightlines that they've got
So
covered.
many arrows.
Exactly. And so when you see this come forward, Sabiobi wins the 1v1 against Carpe, and look at the positioning that the whole of Philadelphia Fusion have to take. They're just stuck in this tiny little circle around here because they can't make their way on the point, and they can't really retreat through the archway because Sabiobi's got it covered off, and they're able to get another picker onto Neptuno and roll this one through. And they managed to continue this snowball the whole way throughout King's Row, because at no point was Fraggy able to get into position. If you're playing against this and you have damage boosted Zenyatta orbs, plus the Hanzo arrows, plus Sabiobi putting down snipes onto the shield, it melts so quickly. So he's never able to actually get into position and just snowball the whole way through.
What I love most about that composition, when you're running the double sniper with alongside like the Winston and the Diva, is that when you're running it against the Reinhardt compositions, even like Rein Zarya compositions, they weren't running the Zarya there, but the double snipers are so far away because they're playing the range, right?
Yeah.
That Fraggy is never going to be in a position to realistically get a good value Earthshatter off. I think that's like the hidden potential tucked away in this composition that you don't really recognize at first sight. But Fraggy that entire game was struggling to get good Earthshatters off, good high value Earthshatters, which is like almost the entire reason you run Reinhardt and why he's so good on King's Row is because it's so narrow and you can get those high value plays off.
And if you look at that particular play there, right? how much of that really relied on Sebiobi hitting that initial shot onto Carpe? Because if Carpe had that positioning, that kind of slows down that push a little bit, maybe gives Philadelphia Fusion a tad bit more of a fighting chance there. You could potentially focus on Hanzo. I think that also is just a credit to Sebiobi's just clutch factor as a player.
Yeah.
Him being able to win that 1v1, just crucial stuff there.
The thing is, though, even if he gets killed, he can just come back straight out of the spawn, and the
Very
spawn
true.
advantage so big for him. So you can kind of recycle that play over and over. Whereas Carpe, if he dies once, that's the whole
true.
point completely open. And we saw that when they went into the time bank round, Carpe actually went over onto Tracer, and we saw Libero just realize, okay, I don't need to play Hanzo here. There's no Widowmaker on the field. They've got no aerial presence, so I'll just bring out the Pharah. And they absolutely cruised through that push in the time bank as well. There was nothing that they were able to do. No pressure from Carpe because he's a Tracer on the floor, and they get massive value out of Carpe, out of Libero's barrage.
Such an intelligent switch. Like throughout this entire series, New York have been making very intelligent, low-key switches, just one or two heroes that they need. And that one Pharah pick just completely dismantled Philly's defense. They had no long-range hit scan to deal with it whatsoever.
It's simply the depth of this NYXL team. Similarly to what we were talking about with the London Spitfire, it is ridiculous just what they have in their arsenal and then what they can just bust out at any given time on the drop of a hat. Incredible stuff. But moving on, though, to game number 4, Route 66. This is finally when, you know, you strike enough times, you go at it enough times, you get close enough times, you're going to get one eventually.
Yep.
And this time, Philly were able to get the victory. The Fusion stand tall in game number 4. And something that, you know, we talked about beforehand is they were able to take NYXL the distance numerous times without Boombox, without one of the better Zenyatas in the scene.
Yeah, this is crazy as well, because like Boombox is currently sick, he's currently ill, which is why they weren't running him. So they actually managed to take a map away from this very strong team, New York Excelsior, when they're not running at their 100%. They're not running their full starting roster. That's what's most impressive to me as well, and shows that Philly are a team that still have this potential to be one of the top teams in the playoffs.
I gotta say, Dayfly didn't really underperform though as well.
I agree.
It's not like they had a massive drop in performance, and so when Boombox is coming back into the lineup, I wouldn't expect them to suddenly explode and be like, be able to win against NYX. I wouldn't expect it to be that much.
But in a game of inches here is what we're talking about. You know, could Boombox have been
the difference?
A little bit of a difference maker. You know, I'm not saying that. I mean, you know, could he have been a little bit of a difference maker? That's what I'm talking about, right? And you know what else I'm talking about? Winners. And you know who's winning hard body? Jonak. That's right, because he's going to be our Omen by HP player of the match. Hey. And go ahead. You, Bren, picked this one.
I did.
Why did you pick Jonak?
So I like to think of Jonak as a flower, a beautiful flower that when he's playing Zenyatta, right, think of his orbs of destruction, his balls, as the spores of life. And he's just procreating all over the place as one big flower, just getting kills, getting picks, slamming damage. He's being nano boosted. His team has faith in him. And he's just making the plays and giving them the business.
You are not good at metaphors.
He's a beautiful flower.
That made no sense. I
but
love
they
this.
have flower, you know.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Nano boosts received as well. Got one nano boost. I believe over the course of stage 3 as well, he's actually been nano boosted 3 times. It's either 2 or 3
But when he
times.
got nano boosted though, he went in.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He is an absolute beast. We were talking about Badoshin, right, when we were looking at the London Spitfire game previously. I said that he's one of the top ones. I think it's between Badoshin and Jonak who you put at the top. And Jonak's been so consistently good and so clutch. I think for me, he is currently on top of the Zenyatas. Puts out ridiculous damage all the time.
Is that he's actually a rookie. Right?
Yes,
that's absolutely mental. The fact that he hasn't really had too much experience in the past, and he's come into the Overwatch League, and he's just shown us what's what. He's dominating.
And he has a team that enables him to be able to perform the way that he does. He also, you know, he's just a very intelligent player when it comes down to, you know, when he goes in for the attack, when he goes in for the heals. Just impressive stuff from that guy, and I, you know, he very well deserved as our player of the match. So, you know, looking forward though, I got to bust out my notes here real fast because I kind of there we go. Let's see here, because moving forward for NYXL, they actually have a game against San Francisco coming up. I believe that's going to be tomorrow, so that will be an exciting matchup. See how SF plays against them, and for Philly, they will have Shanghai Dallas, and the Gladiators moving forward. So, you know, I mean, given standings and recent power rankings amongst the teams, I feel like this is actually a pretty good run that the Fusion can go on here.
They've had a very tough strength of schedule this week, having to play Seoul and then NYXL. So they can start putting some wins forward. If they keep up this kind of momentum, I think that they'll start to look like a much better team in terms of the standings.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting indeed, and we will see NYXL back again tomorrow. But we still have one more match left to play. Don't go anywhere, because the Florida Mayhem will take on the Houston Outlaws. That's going to be coming up next, and we'll see you on the other side.